Chapter 137. With a bang, Ning Cheng's entire body relaxed in an instant, and the liquefied true essence also found a place to drain. The meridians and acupoints in his body gave off a series of crisp sounds, and with each sound he felt his body become lighter. An unprecedented feeling of joy and an indescribable feeling of enlightenment welled up in his heart. Ning Cheng really could not bear it any longer, and just like Yuing, he gave out a long and continuous roar. This kind of strength made Ning Cheng feel an indescribable joy. At this time his body was oozing out countless dregs, but he did not care about it. Ning Cheng knew that he had finally succeeded in breaking through to the essence-building realm. Using 4 best quality spirit stones, he finally succeeded in building his essence-building realm. The real watershed for a cultivator was to successfully enter the essence-building realm. It was only at this time that he finally had the qualifications to call himself a cultivator. It was only now that he had truly forged his own foundation. This kind of joy had not yet ended, when Ning Cheng once again felt his already vaguely formed sea of consciousness give out a catchy sound, as if an eggshell had cracked open. Ning Cheng was so excited that his eyes turned red. He knew that this was the process of forming a sea of consciousness after successfully building the essence-building realm. Finally, he no longer needed to use his spiritual will to fight against other people's spiritual will. Now that he had a sea of consciousness, he could also stretch out his spiritual will in the future. Ning Cheng had heard that when one's spiritual consciousness was cultivated to an extremely high level, one could even use their spiritual consciousness to attack. Forcibly stabilizing his mind, Ning Cheng on one side consolidated his essence-building cultivation. On the other side sorted out his powerful true essence, while at the same time perfecting his sea of consciousness. At the same time, he was also cleaning his meridians and the impurities in his body. This was a kind of marrow washing process. As long as one reached the essence-building realm, they would have to go through this process. Marrow cleansing could allow a cultivator to become more powerful, and their fleshly body would become more flexible. Yuing stared blankly at Ning Cheng as he succeeded in building the essence-building realm. She was not able to feel Ning Cheng's strength, but she had a vague feeling. Ning Cheng had just advanced to the essence-building realm, but compared to some of the veteran essence-building cultivators from the Falling Star Academy, he was a lot more powerful. After a few more days, Ning Cheng finally opened his eyes. Leaping up, the joy in his eyes betrayed his inner thoughts. Big brother Ning, congratulations on your success in advancing to the essence-building realm. Yuing also happily said. Yuing, thank you. Without your 10,000 to 20,000 high-grade spirit stones, I definitely would not have been able to successfully enter the essence-building realm. You've done me a great favor. Ning Cheng was really grateful to Yuing. He had just comprehended the cultivation method. Moreover, his cultivation path was also very smooth. At this time he was able to advance to the essence-building realm in a single go. If he waited for a period of time, he would not necessarily be able to advance as smoothly as he was now. Of course, it was better to increase one's cultivation as early as possible, not to mention at such an appropriate time. It was not until he advanced to the essence-building realm that Ning Cheng really understood that he was seriously injured by that intermediate stage essence-building cultivator. It was not unjust at all. He had thought that because he had comprehended 2 types of axe intents, then he would be able to resist against an essence-building cultivator. It was not that his axe intent was not good, but the disparity between his spiritual consciousness and true essence was just too big. For him to be able to escape from the hands of an essence-building cultivator was already very lucky. With his current cultivation level, if he went to fight with that intermediate stage essence-building cultivator, then he would not have to expend much effort, and would be able to kill the opposite party. The more he cultivated his cultivation method, the stronger he would become. However, the more he cultivated, the more resources he needed. Ning Cheng did not care about it at all. What he wanted was to become even more powerful. This mysterious yellow formless cultivation method was simply too heaven-defying. Ning Cheng was sure that even if it was a cultivator with a powerful qualification, as long as he had sufficient cultivation resources, his cultivation speed would not be any slower than the other party. He had only used less than 3 months, and was able to advance from the true condensation 8th level to the essence-building realm. This was already very telling. Big brother Ning, you saved me. If you thank me again, then I would be very embarrassed. But big brother Ning, the smell on your body is very unpleasant. Yu Ying and Ning Cheng were already familiar with each other. As such, he did not have any scruples in speaking. I'll clean myself up, and then we can go out, Ning Cheng said with a smile. After Yu Ying went out, Ning Cheng used a few dust removal techniques on himself, and then used a few fresh water techniques on himself, changed into a set of clean clothes, and then came out. But Yu Ying was already anxiously waiting for him at the arched door. It could be seen that Yu Ying really wanted to leave this place. Ning Cheng looked at Yu Ying, who had been wanting to go out for a long time, and suddenly said, "Do you want me to carry you?" Yu Ying quickly shook her head and said, No, I can go up by myself. Did you forget? Last time I was the one who carried you back. You really don't want? If you don't want to, then let's go out now. Ning Cheng deliberately spoke another sentence. Yu Ying hesitated this time. She and Ning Cheng had been together for a long time, although most of the time was spent in cultivation. But she was already familiar with what kind of person Ning Cheng was. Ning Cheng was not the kind of person that Yong Guyan had described him to be, although she was still puzzled as to why Ning Cheng would do that kind of thing with Su Zhu. Ning Cheng said that he wanted to carry her on his back. Perhaps there was a reason for it. That. Yu Ying hesitated for a moment, and then said, Then big brother Ning, you can carry me on your back. Saying that, she took the initiative to lie on Ning Cheng's back. She knew that Ning Cheng was not the kind of person that Yong Guyan had described him to be. As such, she believed that Ning Cheng would not do anything to her. This time Ning Cheng did not use a belt to secure Yu Ying. He just carried Yu Ying on his back as he opened the array formation, and then entered the river. When Ning Cheng entered the river, Yu Ying finally understood why Ning Cheng wanted to carry her on his back. At this time Ning Cheng's surroundings had already formed a circular water shield. The surrounding water simply could not invade. Thank you, big brother Ning. Yu Ying felt relieved in her heart, and immediately felt that Ning Cheng was carrying her on his back. When the two of them left the immortal cave, they did not mention anything about taking away the priceless water avoidance bead. Once the water avoidance bead was taken away, the water avoidance array formation would not be able to block the flow of the river, and then the immortal cave would turn into nothingness. Ning Cheng was a grateful person, so he did not even think about it. Yu Ying actually thought about it, but since Ning Cheng did not mention it, she also did not mention it. Big brother Ning, can I ask you a question? Yu Ying, who was on Ning Cheng's back, suddenly asked. Ning Cheng absent-mindedly said, You can ask as long as I feel that I can answer the question. I will not hide it. And big brother Ning, that day when I was with senior apprentice sister Yong Guyun and senior apprentice sister Lu Shui in the Clear Heart Academy, I saw you and senior apprentice sister Su Zhu together. Do you really like senior apprentice sister Su Zhu? Yu Ying felt that if she asked this question, then there should not be anything wrong with it. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. If you want to ask me if I slept with senior apprentice sister Su Zhu, then you can just directly ask. There is no need to beat around the bush. Hearing Ning Cheng's straightforward words, Yu Ying's face immediately turned hot. Her heart actually had such intentions. But how could she casually ask other people about this kind of thing? Big brother Ning was simply too direct. She also spoke in a low voice with a blushing face. I wanted to say that senior apprentice sister Luo Fei is really good. I also like her very much. As for that senior apprentice sister Su Zhu, everyone had their own ideas. As such, Ning Cheng was too lazy to explain these things to Yu Ying. He suddenly asked, Yu Ying, did we live in the same room for nearly a year? That's right. Yu Ying replied, but she was still calculating. They had indeed lived together for nearly a year. That's good. Ning Cheng once again said, Did you strip off my clothes? Did we also sleep together? Yu Ying's face turned red. Big brother Ning, what are you talking about? When did I strip off your clothes? When did I sleep with you? After saying that, Yu Ying felt that something was wrong. She seemed to have stripped off all of Ning Cheng's clothes. Other than his shorts, the rest of his clothes were stripped off by her. But she did it in order to save Ning Cheng. She couldn't have put Ning Cheng wet on the bed, right? Ning Cheng said in a self-deprecating manner. Yu Ying, you stripped off my clothes. We lived in the same room for nearly a year, but you also know that we did not sleep together. Why did you see me walking together with Su Zhu, and think that I slept together with her? Is it because others told you? I understand, Big Brother Ning. You did not do that with Su Zhu. Ying suddenly spoke. She replaced the two words sleep with that. After saying that, her face turned even more red. She said it in such a way that it seemed even more ambiguous. But Ying quickly changed the topic. Big Brother Ning, since you did not do it, why didn't you explain it? Ning Cheng said in a light voice. Who is Yonggu Yin and Lu Shui to me? Why should I explain it to them? Whether they believe it or not, I simply do not care about it. For the people I want to explain it to, I will not explain it to them. The people who believe in me do not need me to explain it. They will also believe it. The people who do not believe in me, no matter what I say, they will not believe it. I'm sorry. Ying quickly thought that Ning Cheng was not willing to explain it to the people, including her. At this time she finally understood the words that Ning Cheng had spoken to her before. Sometimes it is better to maintain your own view of people and things. If someone changes your view, you can go and determine it yourself. As Ying and Ning Cheng spoke, the awkwardness of lying on Ning Cheng's back disappeared by a lot. Now that Ning Cheng said it clearly, and no longer tried to explain it, she once again felt that she had misunderstood Ning Cheng, and was somewhat sorry to Ning Cheng. She subconsciously tightened her grip on Ning Cheng, and even tightened her legs. Although Ning Cheng was carrying Ying on his back, but the fact was that he really did not care about this green apple. Now that Ying subconsciously tightened her grip on him, and even tightened her legs, it made Ning Cheng's heart warm up. He quickly sped up. He knew that Ying was not doing it intentionally, but this kind of unconscious action was the most unbearable. When Ying exerted her strength, she felt that Ning Cheng's back seemed to be a bit hot. Ying was not someone who did not understand anything. She immediately knew that her actions a moment ago were somewhat inappropriate. She was just about to loosen up a bit, when her eyes lit up. Ning Cheng had already rushed out of the river with her on his back, and landed on the shore. We were not sent out. Ying cried out in surprise. She was also worried that they would be sent out. In case they were sent out, that old man surnamed Kong was waiting for her outside. It would not be a good thing. Chapter 138. Haha, I should be rich. Ning Cheng laughed as he turned to Ying and said, Ying, I'll take you to mine. Ying did not respond, and blankly repeated the words, mining? That's right, it's mining. Ning Cheng finished and took a step forward. When Ying saw this, she quickly followed behind Ning Cheng. She was now at the early stages of the true condensation realm, and her cultivation was dozens of times more powerful than before. As such, her speed had also increased. After more than 2 hours, Ning Cheng blankly stared at the messy mine in front of him, and only spoke after a long time. How is this possible? When he left this mine, he had only dug out a small part of it. Even if there were tens of thousands of people digging here until the Angry Axe Valley closed, wouldn't they still not be able to dig out everything? However, the current situation was that there was nothing left in the mine. Not to mention the mine, even a complete weed had been dug up by someone else. Hey, Big Brother Ning, you see there seems to be people inside. Ying was shocked as she pointed to a distant place. At the same time, Ning Cheng also saw the figures in front of him. They were 2 true condensation cultivators, and seemed to be looking for something. What's going on? Did we evade the transmission in the Angry Axe Valley? Or was it that after the accident occurred in the Angry Axe Valley, the transmission simply did not start? Ning Cheng was also completely unable to understand. Ning Cheng quickly arrived in front of the 2 cultivators. The 2 cultivators, on seeing Ning Cheng and Ying come over, immediately stared at the 2 of them vigilantly. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and said, 2 friends, I and my junior apprentice sister have been trapped in this place for more than half a year, and have missed the time to transfer out of the Angry Axe Valley. How come the 2 friends have not been transferred out? When the 2 true condensation cultivators saw that Ning Cheng was asking about this matter, they slightly relaxed their guard, and one of them said in a distressed voice, Don't say it, not to mention that you were not sent out. All the people who entered the Angry Axe Valley are not able to come out. After the accident in the Angry Axe Valley, even after 3 months, not a single person was sent out. Ning Cheng and Ying were silent. Since none of the people who entered the Angry Axe Valley were transmitted out, then it meant that the people who thought that they had perished were just empty wishes. This was not a very good news, which made Ning Cheng somewhat disappointed, as he and Ewing walked all the way, not to mention spiritual grasses. Even monstrous beasts were rarely seen. This place is somewhat unworthy of its name, Ewing said in a somewhat depressed tone. No, it is because there are simply too many people entering the Angry Axe Valley this time. Even the Jia continent's entrance was filled with tens of thousands of people. Perhaps the other entrances would have even more people. With so many people entering the Angry Axe Valley, after going through a year of searching, even the best things would have been lost. Ning Cheng spoke with a sigh. He had been in seclusion all this time. Although he also obtained a lot of good things, compared to others, what he obtained was certainly not much. Big brother Ning, how about we go to the depths of the Angry Axe Valley? I heard that the Angry Axe Valley is boundless. Even if hundreds of thousands of people come in, there would still be places that no one can go. Ewing quickly said. All right. Ning Cheng originally thought that there were a lot of things in the Angry Axe Valley. It was simply impossible for him to get all of them so easily. His original idea was to find a lot of spiritual grasses and other cultivation resources in the Angry Axe Valley, and then return to the underwater immortal cave to study alchemy. In order for him to advance from the true condensation realm to the essence building realm, he had spent a lot of energy, wasted a lot of spirit stones, and even used 4 best quality spirit stones. In the future he would definitely need a lot more resources. How could he not learn alchemy? Although he did not go back to find Ji Luofei on time, but Ning Cheng believed that Ji Luofei would definitely be waiting for him in the Godwind Academy. After being together with Ji Luofei for such a long time, he understood Ji Luofei very well. Since he had asked Ji Luofei to wait for him in the Godwind Academy, then Ji Luofei would definitely be waiting for him in the Godwind Academy. Unless the Godwind Academy no longer existed, in the Hua continent, the Godwind Academy was a 5-star academy. How could it not exist for no reason? In the depths of the Angry Axe Valley, there was a mountain range that stretched for hundreds of miles, with tens of thousands of cultivators squeezed in front of it. To be exact, this mountain range that stretched for hundreds of miles was composed of countless low hills. These countless low hills were continuous, and were verdant and green. The smell of spiritual grasses assaulted their nostrils. And in the distance, they could even see some of the extremely high-ranked spiritual grasses. What made people feel strange was that, in the face of so many high-ranked spiritual grasses, the cultivators here unexpectedly did not rush forward. If one looked carefully, some of these hills had already been dug out beyond recognition, but some of them were still safe and sound. Many of the cultivators were in groups, and were scattered in front of some of the hills that had not been dug out, while each and every one of them was exuding a formidable imposing manner. These imposing auras united together, as if they were fighting against the hills on the opposite side. Finally, a cheer arrived, as the cultivators in front of one of the hills seemed to have gained the upper hand in this confrontation. As the invisible layer in front of the hill dispersed, and all the people swarmed towards it. If the people who had just arrived were to see this scene, then they would be able to completely understand why the hills here, although some of them had been dug out beyond recognition, but some of them were still safe and sound. Senior apprentice Sister Jing Xiao, I found a good thing. An extremely ugly-looking young girl called out with joy. A young male cultivator beside her quickly covered the mouth of this young girl, as he reached out and grabbed the thing in her hands and put it into his own storage bag, and then spoke in a stern voice. Danqin, don't talk too much, just find the thing and put it away. This extremely ugly-looking young girl did not have the time to answer, when she heard a low voice from the side. I saw it first, take it out. The young male cultivator pulled the ugly-looking young girl behind him, and tried to slow down his voice as much as possible. Friend, the things here are ownerless. Just a moment ago my junior apprentice sister took it first. Aren't your words a bit too much? Less nonsense. Are you going to hand it over or not? The male cultivator gave a low shout, as he spoke with some impatience. What if you don't hand it over? A beautiful female cultivator with a dark complexion came over, and spoke with a sarcastic tone. The male cultivator grinned. If you don't hand it over, then die. While speaking, he brought out a giant green claw. As soon as this giant claw came out, it immediately swept up a powerful imposing manner, which directly enveloped the three people in front of him. Under the killing intent and imposing manner of this giant claw, even breathing would be difficult. These three people were undoubtedly Tsang Shuo, Meng Jingxiu and Ruemu Danqin, who were separated from Ningcheng. If Ningcheng had not gone into seclusion at the bottom of the river for nearly a year, then after such a long time, they might have already met each other. But Ningcheng had gone into seclusion at the bottom of the river for nearly a year, and even after the three of them met each other, they still could not find Ningcheng. When Meng Jingxiu saw that the other party was the first to attack, how could she endure it, as she also brought out her halberd, and immediately used her raging river tide. She was only at true condensation 6th level, while the other party was already at true condensation 9th level. Although she was conceited, but she did not dare to look down on a true condensation 9th level cultivator. The halberd shadow formed into a raging river filled with killing intent, and blotted out the sky as it swept towards the giant claw. This true condensation 9th level cultivator, who wanted to eat Meng Jingxiu and the other two people, under this wave-like halberd shadow, immediately felt a chill run down his spine. He had never thought that a true condensation 6th level cultivator would have such a powerful halberd technique. Boom. Caw. The true condensation 9th level cultivator's green claw and the halberd shadow collided, causing the true essence in the sky to explode. Several halberd shadows rushed out of the blockade of the giant claw and bombarded the chest of the true condensation 9th level cultivator. Although the power of the halberd shadow was greatly reduced because of the giant claw, but it was still able to tear apart the robes of the true condensation 9th level cultivator, causing a few bloodstains to appear. These bloodstains were not serious injuries, but this true condensation 9th level cultivator was clearly at a disadvantage under this move. Meng Jingxiu's heart sank. She had thought that this move would be able to severely injure the other party, but she did not expect that it would only cause a few bloodstains. If they really fought, then her situation would not be optimistic. Two people against senior apprentice brother Chu. Since that is the case, then do not blame the Shang Mao Gao for being impolite. As his voice fell, a man wearing a brown robe landed in front of Meng Jingxiu. Do you have any shame? I was just standing here a moment ago and did not even move. When did the two of you fight against one? Tsang Shuo angrily cursed. This brown-robed cultivator called Shang Mao Gao simply ignored Tsang Shuo's words, as he directly brought out a flying sword and shot it towards Meng Jingxiu, while simultaneously speaking to the other true condensation 9th level cultivator, who was forced back by Meng Jingxiu. Senior apprentice brother Chu, you go and teach this nonsense a lesson. Leave this black pot woman to me. Meng Jingxiu originally wanted to retort with a few sarcastic words, but when she heard the rude words of this brown-robed cultivator, she immediately trembled with anger, as she once again shot out the halberd in her hands. The majestic halberd shadows were even more powerful than before, but these halberd shadows were easily blocked by the opposite party's sword light. Meng Jingxiu's heart sank. She knew that this Shang Mao Gao was much more powerful than Fang Xian, who had easily defeated her in the Moze Grand Plaza. Moreover, he was not just a little bit stronger. The sword light that he shot out was very strange. It seemed as if it could bind her true essence and spiritual sense. But this was not the tournament stage. As such, she had no way to admit defeat. Even if she was going to be killed, she could only go up and fight. The continuous halberd shadows were easily broken by Shang Mao Gao, but the opposite party's sword light did not even have the slightest bit of resistance as it passed through the halberd shadows. Meng Jingxiu was shocked in her heart, as she forcibly took back her halberd and turned it into a halberd shield, as she tried to block the sword light that had penetrated through. Puff puff. Two blood splattered out, as her waist and arms were still swept by the sword light. The sword light on her arm was only a few centimeters away from completely cutting off her arm. Even if that was the case, if she did not quickly treat it, then her arm would still be crippled. Seeing Meng Jingxiu seriously injured, Tsang Shuo, who was not the opposite party's opponent, was immediately sent flying by a claw attack on his chest. At this time there were several bloody holes in his chest. As such, the injuries he received were not lighter than Meng Jingxiu. Ruemu Danqin was very anxious, as she quickly cried and said, "Don't kill senior apprentice brother Tsang and senior apprentice sister Jingxiu. We will give you that thing." saying that she did not wait for Song Shua to speak, as she directly took down Song Shua's storage bag and threw it to the opposite party. Ruemu Danchin had heard about this from the other people. Generally, after throwing away their storage bag, if they did not have a deep hatred towards the other party, then they would not be able to kill anyone. This true condensation 9th level cultivator called Senior Apprentice Brother Chu sneered and said, "I told you to take it out, but you did not take it. Now it's too late." While speaking, he once again brought out the giant claw in his hands. Chapter 139. Senior Apprentice Brother Xiaocheng will be here soon. You killed Senior Apprentice Brother Zhang. Senior Apprentice Brother Xiaocheng will not let you off. In Ruemu Danchin's heart, Ning Xiaocheng was the most powerful. She had personally seen Ning Xiaocheng clinch the first place in the 3rd round of the Great Meet. If he was not powerful, then how could he achieve this? Since Deacon Liu had entrusted the 3 of them to Senior Apprentice Brother Xiaocheng, it showed that Senior Apprentice Brother Xiaocheng had the ability to do so. Now that Song Shua and Meng Jingxiu's lives were in danger, Ruemu Danchin no longer cared about her own words, and whether she would be laughed at or ridiculed by others. This Senior Apprentice Brother Chu laughed. This father is the Lu Continent's Red Heaven 7-Star Academy's Chu Tongfu, and the one beside me is the Red Heaven Academy's Shang Mao Gao. When you go to the Inland, remember to call your Senior Apprentice Brother Xiaocheng to come and find your Grandpa Chu. Kill your senior brother Zhang. No, Grandpa is going to destroy all of you together. In the distance, Qi Ziwen, Meng Yujing, Sitiyu, Ling Naixin, and Yonggu Yun were all present, but none of them stood up and said a word. Perhaps they knew that if they dared to speak up, they would be implicated as well. Meng Jingxiu desperately glanced at the few people who had come from the Hua continent. She knew that it was impossible for her to count on them. The fickleness of human nature could be seen from this. At that moment, another loud noise rang out from afar. Clearly, another mound had been breached and countless cultivators swarmed forward. This Senior Apprentice Brother Chu no longer cared about killing Song Shua and the other 2, and followed behind the brown-robed cultivator called Shang Mao Gao, like a bolt of lightning. If you dare to run, then this father will turn around and burn your soul. Before leaving, this true condensation 9th level cultivator surnamed Chu did not forget to leave behind a few words. He did not even have enough time to take away Meng Jingxiu's storage bag, not to mention killing those 3 people. There were so many cultivators here. Once the hill was breached, it would immediately cause a commotion. He could kill Meng Jingxiu and the other 2 at any time. As long as he could grab the spiritual grasses, then it would not be too late to kill them. Meng Jingxiu was just a few low-leveled cultivators. As such, she would definitely not have any good things on her body. As such, it was more important to grab the spiritual grasses first. I am sorry, Senior Apprentice Brother Tsang. Senior Apprentice Sister Jingxiu, I am not sensible enough to implicate you. Ruemu Danchin had never seen this kind of situation before. At this time she was completely out of her wits. Song Shua sighed and said, "It's not your fault, it's our experience. Just look at the people from the Falling Star Academy and the other academies. They are just picking up some spiritual grasses from the back, and simply do not come forward to snatch from the people from the intermediate class continents or the advanced class continents. We don't have a backstage. We should have stayed behind." In addition, Danchin obtained an essence-raising fruit. It would be strange if people didn't covet it. Meng Jingxiu was silent, her face was pale, she was seriously injured. At the same time, she also understood what Song Shua meant. The 3 of them did not have any experience. Usually, in this kind of situation, it was better to quickly give the fruit to the person who asked for it. Only then could they calm down. Of course, with her temper, she wouldn't give her things away like this. As a result, a fight was inevitable. Not only did she fight with him, she even injured him. If only Senior Apprentice Brother Xiaocheng was here. Ruemu Danchin knew that the fate of the 3 of them was already doomed. As soon as the other party finished snatching the spiritual grasses, the next moment they would come to deal with the 3 of them. Song Shua shook his head and said, "Senior Apprentice Brother Ning is here to harm him. You did not hear him say that he is from the 7-Star Academy. They definitely have an essence-building master. Even if Senior Apprentice Brother Ning is more powerful, he would not be able to fight against an essence-building master. The three of them knew that there was no way out. Even if they didn't heal their injuries, they remained silent. This kind of thing was very common in this place, so no one came forward to express sympathy for the three of them, or even help them. There are a few healing pills here, you quickly swallow them, and then immediately leave. I can't help you. At this time, Sitayu quickly walked over, and threw a bottle to Ruemu Danchin. After saying a few words, he turned around and walked away. Ruemu Danchin took the bottle and was somewhat stunned, but she quickly reacted, and quickly opened the bottle, and took out 2 pills and put them in Songshua and Meng Jingxiu's mouth. Do we have to go? Ruemu Danchin remembered the words of Sitayu a moment ago, and quickly asked. I did not expect that Sitayu would actually take out pills. Songshua looked at the departing Sitayu and sighed. He then shook his head at Yu Ying and said, There is no need to go, you see that the spiritual grasses have already been snatched. I estimate that the person surnamed Chu will soon come over. We are seriously injured, where can we go? Ning Cheng and Yu Ying did not walk for long. On the 3rd day, the two of them once again saw cultivators. But this time the two of them did not see 1 or 2 cultivators. Rather there were more than tens of thousands of them. When Ning Cheng saw this dense mass of people, he even thought that all the cultivators who had entered the Angry Axe Valley had gathered here. Ning Cheng casually swept out with his spiritual consciousness, and immediately saw a few acquaintances. Che Ziwan, Ming Yujing, Sitayu, Ling Naixin and Yong Guyun were all there, but Fang Xian and Pu Lisan were not there. Then Ning Cheng saw Songshua, Ruemu Danchin and Meng Jingxiu, but Ning Cheng immediately became furious. Songshua and Meng Jingxiu were seriously injured. Only Ruemu Danchin was standing on the side looking after them with red eyes. Meng Jingxiu was covered in blood. Her face was incomparably pale. Even her arm was almost completely cut off. Only a little bit of flesh and skin was holding it together. If she did not receive treatment, then her arm would be equivalent to being crippled. Songshua was extremely dispirited, and was also covered in blood. There were even a few bloody holes on his chest. But the disciples of the other academies in the Hua continent were safe and sound. Even Yong Guyun, who was only in the Qi gathering realm, was not injured at all. But Yong Guyun was not with the Falling Star Academies Che Ziwan and Ming Yujing. Rather she was with another group of people. Ning Cheng did not have the mind to care about this. He quickly arrived in front of the Songshua trio and asked, What happened? Senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng. Ruemu Danchin saw Ning Cheng come over, and called out to him, and immediately began to cry. When Songshua and Meng Jingxiu saw Ning Cheng, there was a trace of guilt in their eyes. It was obvious that Ning Cheng had arrived, and was also involved in this matter. Ning Cheng quickly said, Let's talk about it later, let's first heal up. Saying that, Ning Cheng took out 2 mysterious frost zoishes and said, These are mysterious frost zoishes, 1 for each of you. Wait, a bearded man stepped in front of Ning Cheng and the others. Looking at his appearance, he almost reached out to snatch the mysterious frost zoishes from Ning Cheng's hands. Ning Cheng was incomparably fast. With a wave of his hand he immediately put away the mysterious frost zoishes, and then coldly stared at the opposite party and said, What's the matter? This bearded man already had the cultivation of late-stage essence-building realm, although Ning Cheng was not afraid of him, but he still had to be careful. I am Dong Guoxiao, a Tier 4 True Pill Master from the Feng Continent's 7 Rainbow Pill Sect. I have the True Internal Organs Pill in my hands, which can heal injuries. Although the True Internal Organs Pill is only a level 3 pill, but I'm sure that for the injuries of your 2 friends, the effect would be much better than your mysterious frost zoishes. I will now give you 2, as long as you give me the mysterious frost zoishes in your hands. Although this bearded man's cultivation was a lot higher than Ning Cheng's, but he did not try to snatch it, but rather discussed an exchange with Ning Cheng. In the Yixing mainland, not all the people were like that cultivator surnamed Chu. There were also people like Dong Guoxiao who had their own standpoint. Ning Cheng knew about the True Internal Organs Pill. This was one of the best level 3 healing pills. For Songshua and Meng Jingxiu's current injuries, the True Internal Organs Pill was indeed much better than the mysterious frost zoishes. Meng Jingxiu's arm was severely injured, but it was not completely cut off, so using the True Internal Organs Pill would be much better. Okay, I have the rare rank 4 spiritual grass mysterious frost zoishes. Then I will use a stalk to exchange for your 2 pills. Ning Cheng took out a stalk of mysterious frost zoishes and handed it to Dong Guoxiao. He also knew that if it was outside, then using the precious mysterious frost zoishes to exchange for 2 true internal organs pills should be possible, but in here, using a stalk of mysterious frost zoishes to exchange for 2 true internal organs pills, it really was very difficult. However, doing business was all about asking for a sky-high price, and then returning the money on the spot. If it was really not possible, then he would use 2 stalks. He only had 3 stalks of mysterious frost zoishes. Dong Guoxiao slightly hesitated and said, "In here, if I exchange with you, then I will eat a little loss, forget it. I am in urgent need of this mysterious frost zoishes. Can you also sell the other stalk to me?" Ning Cheng did not think that Dong Guoxiao would be such an honest person. Since he had already bargained, he certainly would not take out the other stalk. He quickly stuffed the stalk of mysterious frost zoishes into the hands of the opposite party and said, "The other stalk is something that I am in urgent need of. Thank you, Dong Guo friend. Later on when I go to the Feng continent, I will definitely take care of your business." Dong Guoxiao also immediately gave the 2 pills to Ning Cheng. Although he looked very straightforward and honest when discussing business, but he was very stingy about other things, and did not even give a jade bottle to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng certainly did not care about this. He quickly put the 2 pills into Meng Jingxiu and Song Shua's mouths, and then used his spiritual consciousness to carefully help Meng Jingxiu reattach her arm, and then fixed it in place and said, "The 2 of you quickly circulate your true essence, and dissolve the medicinal properties. I have heard of the reputation of the true internal organs pill. It should not be a big deal." Meng Jingxiu and Song Shua gratefully looked at Ning Cheng. They also knew that this was not the time to talk, and quickly closed their eyes and circulated their true essence to heal their injuries. Dong Guoxiao seemed to know that Ning Cheng would have some trouble in the future. After exchanging for a stalk of mysterious frost zoishes, he quickly left the place. He was extremely excited in his heart. He was in dire need of the mysterious frost zoishes, and did not think that he would be able to obtain it so easily. The reason why he was not willing to talk about the price with Ning Cheng was that his temperament was originally like this, and also because he knew that Ning Cheng's troubles would soon come. He was not willing to get involved in it. If Ning Cheng did not die, then maybe he would come and trade with Ning Cheng. Of course, if Ning Cheng's mysterious frost zoishes were taken away by Chu Tongfu, then he would also look for Chu Tongfu to trade. Senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng. That person came. It was him and his junior apprentice brother, who seriously injured senior apprentice sister Jingxiu and senior apprentice brother Tsang. He also took away the essence-raising fruit that I obtained in senior apprentice brother Tsang's storage bag. If not for a spiritual grass hill being opened, then he would have already killed the 3 of us. Ruimu Danqin saw that the cultivator surnamed Chu once again come over, as she stood behind Ning Cheng with some fear, and carefully spoke out. "Haha, it really is one more person who came to die. Is this your senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng? Good, since everyone is here, then you would not have to worry about him after death." The person surnamed Chu who had seriously injured Song Shua and robbed the storage bag had not yet arrived, but his voice had already arrived. Chapter 140. Junior Apprentice Sister Danqin. Is he the one who snatched your essence-raising fruits, and then seriously injured Junior Apprentice Sister Jingxiu and Junior Apprentice Brother Tsang? Ning Cheng looked at the man surnamed Chu and asked in a slow voice. "Stop pretending." The man surnamed Chu had a rank 4 spiritual grass snatched away by someone a moment ago. Moreover, the person who had snatched away his rank 4 spiritual grass was not a small figure. Therefore, he did not dare to make a move against them. At this moment, his heart was in a bad mood. Ning Cheng looked like he was asking for a beating. He could not bear it any longer, as the green claw was already in his hands. If not for Ruimu Danqin saying that senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng would come, he would not have even brought out his magical weapon. Since Ning Cheng had already been mentioned, then presumably he still had a few more moves left, which was why he brought out his magical weapon. The man surnamed Chu brought out a magical weapon, but Ning Cheng did not have any thoughts of taking out his golden great axe, as he immediately flew up, while simultaneously punching out with his fist. Ning Cheng's essence-building realm true essence was so rich that even he himself did not feel it. The power of the mysterious yellow formless cultivation method was undoubtedly revealed at this moment. The axe fist that was filled with the killing intent directly rolled up an axe shadow killing wall around this cultivator surnamed Chu. This cultivator surnamed Chu was completely wrapped up by Ning Cheng's axe fist's killing intent, as the formidable deathly aura shrouded him. How could he still have the courage to bring out his green claw? At this moment, there was only one thought in his mind. He had provoked someone he shouldn't have, and kicked someone he shouldn't have kicked. If he had known that this senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng was really so terrifying, he would have at most snatched away the essence-raising fruit. I am. The man surnamed Chu hastily reported his origin. Not to mention that Ning Cheng did not want him to reveal his origins at this time. Even if he did, Ning Cheng would still kill this fellow. If he could not force the other party to reveal his origins, then it would reduce some trouble. Ning Cheng certainly would not give up. The berserk killing force of the axe fist directly blasted back the words of the man surnamed Chu. Not waiting for the man surnamed Chu to react, Ning Cheng's axe fist had already solidly bombarded the body of the man surnamed Chu. Poof! That man surnamed Chu did not even have the ability to resist, as a bloody mist sprayed out, as he was directly killed by Ning Cheng's axe fist. After Ning Cheng killed that man surnamed Chu with a single punch, he calmly walked over and picked up his storage bag. Ning Cheng swept out with his spiritual consciousness, and immediately found Song Shua's storage bag. The surrounding onlookers were completely sluggish. Even some of the essence-building cultivators could not believe what they saw in Ning Cheng. They could vaguely feel that Ning Cheng also had the cultivation of essence-building realm. But his cultivation was definitely not at the intermediate stage of essence-building realm, or even the late stage of essence-building realm. That is to say, Ning Cheng was most likely only at essence-building first level. For an essence-building first-level cultivator to kill a true condensation ninth-level cultivator was indeed very simple, but Ning Cheng was simply too simple. Moreover, Ning Cheng's axe fist was even more astonishing. Even the few cultivators from the Hua continent were looking at Ning Cheng in a daze. They were well aware of Ning Cheng's strength, so if Ning Cheng was able to kill that man surnamed Chu, then they would not find it strange at all. However, Ning Cheng was able to kill that man surnamed Chu so easily, which meant that his cultivation had definitely made some progress in this place. The true internal organs pill was indeed an excellent healing pill. Song Shua was already able to stand up, as he took the storage bag from Ning Cheng and said in a worried voice, "Thank you, senior apprentice brother Ning, for helping me take revenge. I estimate that this time we are in big trouble." While Ning Cheng and Song Shua were talking, Yongguyan quietly pulled Yuing over and anxiously said, "Yuing, why are you together with that man surnamed Ning? Don't you know what kind of person he is? He is together with Su Zhu, and relying on a few magic skills. Do you even know who he killed a moment ago? Lu Province's Red Heaven 7-Star Academy's disciple. You better hurry up and stand beside senior apprentice sister Meng Yujing, and pretend that you don't know anything about this matter." Yuing looked at Yong Guyun with a puzzled expression and said, "Senior apprentice sister Guyun, why are you standing here alone?" Yong Guyun looked at the man at her side, and her face turned slightly red, and at the same time spoke to Yuing in a somewhat bashful manner. "This is Celestial Globe 7-Star Academy's senior apprentice brother Lao Sheng. Senior apprentice brother Lao and I are very good friends. After I go out, I will also join the Celestial Globe 7-Star Academy. Later when you join the Celestial Globe 7-Star Academy, we will still be senior apprentice sister and junior apprentice sister." Saying that, Yong Guyan turned to the short man at her side and said, "Senior apprentice brother Lao, this is the one that I told you about before, junior apprentice sister Yuing, who will be joining the Celestial Globe Academy. Junior apprentice sister Yuing has a pure wind spiritual root." Wind spirit root. The essence-building cultivator called Lao Sheng's eyes lit up, and then he cupped his fists towards Yuing and said, "Junior apprentice sister, you will definitely be a core disciple of my Celestial Globe Academy, so we will have to exchange and communicate with each other in the future." "Greetings, senior apprentice brother Lao." Yuing also returned the courtesy. Lao Sheng said to Yong Guyun with a smile, "Junior apprentice sister Guyun, Junior apprentice sister Yu Ying has successfully advanced to the true condensation realm. I estimate that you will have to call her senior apprentice sister Yu Ying from now on. Yong Yun looked at Yu Ying in shock. She was very clear that before they entered the Angry Axe Valley, Yu Ying was still at Qi Gathering 6th level. How could she advance so quickly to the true condensation realm? This was simply impossible. Even if she stayed in the Falling Star Academy to cultivate, it would still be impossible for her to reach the true condensation realm so quickly. Yu Ying smiled and said, "That's right. I have indeed reached the true condensation realm. I'm going to go to senior apprentice brother Ning's place. Let's talk later." Yong Guyan finally reacted and hastily called out, "Yu Ying, why are you still going to Ning City? Don't you know what kind of person he is? Besides, you'd be courting death if you went now." The essence-building cultivators of the Red Heaven Academy would absolutely not let go of Ningcheng. Even if Ningcheng was powerful, how could he fight against an essence-building cultivator? With your qualifications, coupled with Senior Kang's appreciation, later when you go to the Celestial Globe Academy, you would definitely have a bigger development. We are all from the Ping continent, so in the future we will have to help each other. That's right, senior apprentice sister Gu Yun. Why are you not together with senior apprentice sister Meng and the others? Yu Ying suddenly asked an unrelated matter. Yong Gu Yun's expression was somewhat unnatural as she spoke. I may not return to the Hua continent in the future. It would be more convenient for me to be together with senior apprentice brother Lao. Yu Ying nodded. She already understood in her heart. If she did not know that she would definitely join the Celestial Globe Academy, and even get the attention of Senior Kong, Yong Gu Yun would definitely not have said those words to her, and even told her not to go and die together with Ning Cheng. What Gu Yun said is right. If you go now, then it would indeed be a dead end. That Ning Cheng killed the disciples of the Red Heaven Academy. He already has no way out. Since you are already in the true condensation realm, then you can come with us. Later you can also go to the Celestial Globe Academy together. Lao Sheng smiled and added a sentence from the side. Yu Ying smiled and said, "Thank you, big brother Ning helped me. I think that it would be better for me to go with him. Besides, I have not yet joined the Celestial Globe Academy, so when I separate from senior apprentice brother Ning, I will be together with senior apprentice sister Meng and the others." Looking at Yu Ying's back as she left, Lao Sheng suddenly said, "This junior apprentice sister Yu Ying's words are very thorny. It seems that she has some opinions about you." Yong Gu Yun stared at Ning Cheng and said with hatred, "This surname Ning really has a way with women. Originally there was a girl called An Yi. If not for junior apprentice sister Lu Shui discovering her early on, I estimate that she would also be like Yu Ying, played in the palm of his hand, and would never get tired of it. I hate this kind of guy who plays with women the most. Fortunately he will not do it again. If there is a next time, and he falls into my hands, I will definitely make him look good," Lao Sheng said with a sneer. Yong Gu Yun softly looked at Lao Sheng, and whispered, "In fact, I appreciate senior apprentice brother Lao's temperament. That Ning Cheng is just relying on a kind of spear technique to flaunt his strength in front of a true condensation cultivator. You dare to kill a disciple of my Red Heaven Academy?" An angry and ruthless voice sounded from a distance, and then a brown-robed figure landed in front of Ning Cheng. "Did you kill Chu Tongfu? You little bastard." As the figure landed, he immediately brought out a flying sword. His voice and the flying sword almost came out at the same time. He simply did not wait for Ning Cheng to answer. Ning Cheng could see that this true condensation 9th level cultivator was much more powerful than the previous cultivator surnamed Chu. For Ning Cheng, even if the opposite party was 10 times more powerful than the previous one, in front of him, it would only be a piece of cake. Senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng, he is Shang Mao Gao. Senior apprentice sister Jing Xiu's arm was almost chopped off by him. Moreover, the injury on senior apprentice sister Jing Xiu's lower abdomen was also done by him. Moreover, his flying sword light is very powerful. Ruemu Danqin was afraid that Ning Cheng would suffer a loss, and quickly reminded Ning Cheng from the side. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. This kind of trash is even more powerful. But that's all. Look at his arrogant and bullying appearance. He will soon know what it means to bully people. Saying that, he did not even move, as he raised his hand and blasted out 3 consecutive punches. These 3 punches did not even use his axe fist. Before he had used his axe fist to kill that cultivator surnamed Chu. It really was a waste of his talent. These 3 punches were just ordinary punches. Moreover, these 3 punches were not even very coherent, as they were slow and stagnant. Seeing that Ning Cheng did not even bring out his artifact, Xiang Mao Gao was so angry that he gnashed his teeth to pieces. He must let Ning Cheng know the fearsomeness of his Luren sword light. He must grind Ning Cheng into pieces, and not let him die, so that Ning Cheng could see with his own eyes how he, Xiang Mao Gao, would slowly kill the 3 people behind him. But Xiang Mao Gao soon felt that something was wrong. His Luren sword light had sent out 6 strange sword lights. These sword lights were able to lock down the surrounding imposing manner, binding Ning Cheng. Even extending his spiritual sense had become extremely difficult. But after his Luren sword light blasted out, the 6 strange sword lights had not yet taken shape, when they were blocked by a powerful true essence fist force. Cha-cha. The 6 sword lights in the air gave out a kind of sound, not to mention forming the imposing manner of the sword lights. Even taking shape was extremely difficult. The Luren sword light that had not yet taken shape was smashed into pieces by Ning Cheng's fist, and turned into nothingness. Xiang Mao Gao's famous Luren sword light, in front of Ning Cheng's fist, was simply a joke. You are not Ning. Xiang Mao Gao had not even finished his words, when he felt Ning Cheng's second fist had already arrived. At this time Xiang Mao Gao was scared out of his wits. Even if he was more powerful, he could not be arrogant in front of an essence-building cultivator. He really wanted to beg for mercy, but at this time Ning Cheng's second fist wind had completely sealed him. Even if he could move, it would be extremely difficult for him to even move, not to mention the flow of air to speak. If he could, at this time he was willing to kneel down and beg for mercy. As long as Ning Cheng let him go, the Red Heaven Academy would naturally send out an essence-building cultivator to kill Ning Cheng. But he did not have any chance at all. At the same time that he was bound, a scorching hot and terrifying fist shadow once again rumbled towards him. Xiang Mao Gao knew that he absolutely would not be able to escape this third fist. Xiang Mao Gao looked at this third fist in despair. He had never thought that he, who had always been proud and arrogant, and had always been one of the most outstanding people in the Red Heaven Academy, would die under these 3 fists. Moreover, he would not even have half a shred of strength to fight back. He finally understood what it meant to be a bully. Chapter 141. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, I'm sorry, originally this matter had nothing to do with you, but you ended up getting involved in it. Song Shua spoke to Ning Cheng in a very uneasy manner. Ning Cheng calmly spoke to Ruemu Danqin, who was standing behind him. Junior Apprentice Sister Danqin, you can explain the whole matter to this person who is able to convince people with reason, and does not use his strength to bully the weak. Song Shua came to Ning Cheng's side and spoke in a low voice. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, they should be the essence-building cultivators of the Red Heaven Academy. The essence-building cultivators are all alone on the other side fighting over the spiritual grasses. They probably know that someone from their sect has been killed. Ning Cheng did not take the initiative to attack. He just grabbed the golden great axe and stared at the long-eyebrowed cultivator in front of him. As for that early-stage essence-building female cultivator with her phoenix eyes, Ning Cheng directly ignored her. The long-eyebrowed cultivator was not like that female cultivator, who immediately started fighting. He first cupped his fists towards the people around him and turned around in a half-circle. Before he spoke, I am Wu Zhen from the Red Heaven 7-Star Academy. I am a disciple of the Red Heaven 7-Star Academy, and will never bully the weak. This person relied on his own strength as an essence-building cultivator, and killed a true condensation core disciple of my Red Heaven Academy. I, Wu Zhen, want to take revenge. I think this logic is reasonable even if you say it to the ends of the heavens. Ning Cheng sneered and said, I did not hear that Chu Tongfu say that he was from the Red Heaven Academy. If you really want to start a fight, then don't look for any random reason. Come straight at me, I'll take them all. The female cultivator frowned. She gave a cold snort, and was about to speak. Wu Zhen knew that her companion was about to take action, but it was not a good time to do so. Ning Cheng knew what this Dong Guoxiao was here for, as he gave a faint smile and spoke. If this friend Donghua is here to exchange for the mysterious frost zoishes, then forget about it. The mysterious frost zoishes are of great use to me. The true essence fluctuations coming from Ningcheng's body and his cultivation level were not obvious. Moreover, his age was also not that old. Coupled with Ruemu Danqin calling him senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng, he did not put him in his eyes. In his view, even if Ningcheng managed to defeat Chu Tongfu, he estimated that he would not be able to pass through Shang Maogao's hands. Besides, now that everyone was in the Angry Axe Valley, this news would not leak out. Regarding the cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy in the Angry Axe Valley, Ningcheng really did not care about them. As long as he came out of the Angry Axe Valley, he would immediately think of a way to return to the Hua continent and take away Ji Luofei. He had initially been observing Ningcheng's cultivation. As Ningcheng cultivated the mysterious yellow formless, as such the overflow of his cultivation was not obvious. If he had the cultivation of profound congealing realm, then of course he would be able to see it at a glance, but his essence-building cultivation and Ningcheng's essence-building cultivation simply could not be compared. As such, he would need to use his spiritual consciousness to observe Ningcheng's cultivation for some time. In fact, other than Ruemu Danqin who rushed up, all the cultivators from the Hua continent remained silent. They were the same as the others. They did not think that Ningcheng would be able to kill Shang Maogao so easily. He did not think that Ningcheng would really kill Shang Maogao. Originally, he had already determined that Ningcheng was already at the essence-building realm, but now that Ningcheng once again made his move, he could immediately see that Ningcheng was not very proficient in using the essence-building realm true essence. As such, he should have just recently reached the essence-building realm. The long-browed cultivator who called himself Wu Zhen originally thought that after he finished speaking, the surrounding people would immediately echo his words. However, what he didn't expect was that after he finished speaking, there was an awkward silence. No one echoed his words. Senior apprentice sister Jing Xiao, senior apprentice brother Tsang, senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng helped us take revenge and killed these two bad guys. Shouldn't you be celebrating and happy? Ruemu Danqin quickly felt that the atmosphere was not right, and quickly asked. He stared at them and spoke in a deep voice. We will investigate this matter. You killed a disciple of my Red Heaven Academy. Just based on your side of the story, I simply cannot believe it. Besides, my Red Heaven Academy is also a 7-star academy. Even if there was a misunderstanding between you and the disciples of my Red Heaven Academy, you are just an essence-building cultivator. You cannot kill the disciples of my academy, you can just tell me. Ningcheng showed an apologetic look and said, I'm sorry, I really do not want to sell the mysterious frost zoishes. The surrounding people were not fools. Although a 7-star academy was great, but now everyone was trapped in the Angry Axe Valley. Moreover, Ningcheng was so powerful, in the case that there was no result, who would be willing to offend him at this time? You also do not have the opportunity to sell. A cold voice interrupted Ningcheng from the side. Dong Guoxiao knew that this was an essence-building cultivator from the Red Heaven Academy, as he quickly moved to the side. He was a true alchemist and under normal circumstances, he rarely offended others, and very few people offended him. Shang Maogao was a core disciple of the Red Heaven 7-star Academy. Not only did he have an amazing cultivation level, but he also had infinite potential, and was one of the key disciples of the Red Heaven Academy. But such a person was actually killed by a single punch from Ningcheng. How could the Red Heaven Academy let this matter go? Not to mention that the Red Heaven Academy would not give up. Even the essence-building cultivators of the Red Heaven Academy in the Angry Axe Valley would not give up. Pung, the sound of leather being smashed into smithereens. Shang Maogao was directly sent flying by the formidable True Essence Fist Force. By the time he landed on the ground, his appearance was even more miserable than that of Cultivator Chu. Now that Ningcheng had instantly killed Chu Tongfu and Shang Maogao, he did not even need to use his spiritual consciousness to observe Ningcheng, as he knew that Ningcheng was an essence-building cultivator. As for who was in the right, he simply did not care. He was sure that even if the people from the Red Heaven Academy were in the wrong, there would still be people who would go along with them. But he didn't expect that no one would agree. This caused the other party to state the real reason. And the reason was that the disciples of the Red Heaven Academy were bullying the weak. This was a slap in the face for what he had just said. This friend really has some skill. This Dong Guozhao's eyes are blind. The bearded man who had exchanged the mysterious frost zoisha with Ning Cheng was the first to arrive in front of Ning Cheng. He was smiling from ear to ear, and his demeanor was several times more enthusiastic than before. This Dong Guozhao had indeed come to exchange for the mysterious frost zoisha, but he did not expect that Ning Cheng would not only kill Chu Tongfu, but also Shang Mao Gao. Seeing that Ning Cheng did not even wait for him to speak, and had already spoken out in front of him, he could only give an awkward smile and said, "This friend can just name a price. As long as it is within my range, I can accept it." Similarly, although that cultivator surnamed Chu was also from the Red Heaven Academy, but his status compared to Shang Mao Gao was simply too far apart. No wonder he was able to kill martial nephew Shang. Originally he was relying on his essence-building cultivation to be amazing. Another male cultivator with long eyebrows spoke out in a sarcastic tone. He did not believe that other people could return to the Hua continent from the Jia continent, but he could not. Only Ning Cheng himself knew, even if he had not reached the essence-building realm, if he used his full strength, then it was not impossible for him to kill Shang Mao Gao with just 3 punches. Ning Cheng had already seen the people who had arrived. A woman with red phoenix eyes was at the essence-building realm 3rd level, and a male cultivator with long eyebrows who was overflowing with true essence was at the essence-building realm 7th level. When Ning Cheng killed that cultivator surnamed Chu, he could say that he had just arrived and did not know who that cultivator surnamed Chu was, but now that Ning Cheng had killed Shang Mao Gao, it was obvious that he could not use this as a reason. Not killing Shang Mao Gao, but also explaining to Shang Mao Gao that he did not know that this cultivator surnamed Chu was from a 7-star academy. Then he would be humiliated in every possible way. And finally he estimated that he would be hunted down by others. Since that was the case, then it would be better to kill him and talk about it later. If there were still other essence-building cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy in the Angry Axe Valley, who wanted to settle accounts with him, then he would definitely kill the opposite party. When Ning Cheng killed that cultivator surnamed Chu, he was already prepared, otherwise he would not have killed Shang Mao Gao. For him, not killing that cultivator surnamed Chu was simply not realistic. People wanted to kill him. If he still endured it, then it would not be in his nature. As for killing Shang Mao Gao, it was the same. Song Shua's words had not yet finished, when that female cultivator raised her hand and shot out a blue light. Song Shua felt his entire body turn cold. He did not even have the time to react when he saw a golden great axe appear in Ning Cheng's hands. That blue light was blocked by the golden great axe, causing a harsh explosion sound to ring out, as all kinds of scattered true essence scattered in all directions. He did not think that the Red Heaven Academy would do such a thing. If every time a person offended the Red Heaven Academy, then the Red Heaven Academy would exterminate their academy, it would simply be too outrageous. Senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng, you really are too powerful. Ruemu Danqin excitedly rushed up and called out. In a place where strength was respected, if one wanted to reason with others, then it would be better to stick their own face out and let others slap it. The surroundings instantly turned silent. If Ning Cheng had killed that cultivator surnamed Chu, then it would not have shocked the people. But for Ning Cheng to kill Shang Mao Gao, it was already beyond everyone's expectations. Situyu was a bit bitter in his heart. He had given up the match against Ning Cheng in the Moze Grand Plaza in the 3rd round. But in his heart he thought that the difference between him and Ning Cheng was not that big. But now he found that if he had to face Ning Cheng's 3 punches a moment ago, then he would not have been able to escape. Compared to the time when he was in the Moze Grand Plaza, Ning Cheng was several times more powerful. Don't worry, this matter has nothing to do with you. That person was killed by me. You are the victim. If the Red Heaven Academy dares to deal with the Godwind Academy because of this matter, then in the future when my cultivation goes up, I will definitely look for them. Ning Cheng patted Song Shua's shoulder and said, although his mouth was ridiculing Ning Cheng, but in his heart he was secretly surprised. A cultivator who had just advanced to the essence-building realm unexpectedly needed him to carefully observe them for a while before he could see their cultivation. Once the other party's cultivation stabilized, or even reached the middle stage of essence-building realm, then he would not necessarily be able to see the other party's cultivation. If one did not know these two people, then it would not matter, but if one knew the cultivator surnamed Chu and Shang Mao Gao, then they would know that the consequences of Ning Cheng's actions were very serious. At the same time, all the people also knew that Ning Cheng was definitely not a true condensation cultivator. There was no one in the true condensation realm who could kill Shang Mao Gao with just 3 punches. Although Ruemu Danqin had almost no experience, but she was very clever in her speech. In just a few words, she clearly stated the cause and effect of the matter, and finally said, "If you do not believe me, then you can ask the people here." If senior apprentice brother Xiao Cheng had not come early, then the 3 of us would not only have been robbed by the people from your Red Heaven Academy, but we would also have been killed. "You guys step back, I'll deal with these 2 guys. Ning Cheng said in a sinking voice. He knew that in the face of an essence-building cultivator, Song Shua and the others would not be able to help. Not to mention that Song Shua and Meng Jingxiu were still seriously injured. Wu Zhen's complexion turned a bit ugly. His original intention was that after he spoke, and the people around him echoed his words, then he would immediately kill Ning Cheng. If he did not echo, then at most he would lose the opportunity to please the Red Heaven Academy. Once he agreed, and in the event that Wu Zhen lost, then it was very likely that he would end up offending Ning Cheng. Besides, everyone here was clear about the matter. If Wu Zhen said that he was in the right, then it was simply a joke. Chapter 142. At this moment, Wu Zhen was extremely regretful. If he had known earlier that he would have killed them, he could have still killed the 4 of them. But in this way, the Red Heaven Academy would really have the reputation of bullying the weak. Of course, he did not know that Ning Cheng was not afraid of him at all. What's the point of wasting your breath on trash like him? A life for a life, a debt for a debt, it's only right and proper. How dare he try to reason with me? The female cultivator who came together with Wu Zhen did not have the same patience as Wu Zhen. As such, when she saw that Ning Cheng seemed to have a good reason, as such she did not have the patience to continue talking nonsense. While speaking, the 1,000 transformation wheel in his hand had already shot towards Ning Cheng. As the violent will lights smashed towards Ning Cheng, these will lights quickly took control of this space, and turned into a variety of wheel shadows of different colors as they whizzed down. Other than the place where Ning Cheng was standing, which was still intact under Ning Cheng's imposing aura, the surroundings were completely destroyed by the explosion of the wheel lights. Under the formidable imposing manner of the wheel light, Ning Cheng's sleeves were making rustling sounds, but he did not move, nor did he bring out his golden great axe. Wu Zhen had not been able to think of a good reason to kill Ning Cheng. But now that his companion wanted to kill him with a life for a life, it was exactly what he wanted. However, when he saw that Ning Cheng unexpectedly did not move, he hesitated. He believed that Ren Yanyu would be able to kill Ning Cheng, but even if Ning Cheng was a late-stage essence-building cultivator, he would not dare to face this kind of violent colored wheel without making a move. At this time, Ning Cheng finally made his move. Ning Cheng did not bring out his golden great axe. Rather, he instantly placed the golden great axe on his back, while simultaneously blasting out with his spear. After Ning Cheng obtained the golden great axe, this was the first time that he had brought out an incomplete spear. He could already see that this female cultivator's 1,000 transformation wheel was not an ordinary artifact, but a spiritual artifact. Ning Cheng had never fought against a cultivator who wielded a spiritual artifact. As such, he was somewhat worried that his golden great axe would be damaged by this female cultivator's 1,000 transformation wheel. Although the golden great axe was just an artifact, but Ning Cheng was very comfortable with it. Moreover, Ning Cheng believed that the profound ice spear shadows would be more effective in dealing with this kind of violent colored wheel lights and shadows. If that Wu Zhen dared to make a move, the golden great axe would be waiting for him. This time Ning Cheng did not try to hide the ice-cold profound ice spear shadows. His true essence and spiritual consciousness were already sufficient, so the profound ice spear shadows were just the right time to burst out. Ren Yanyu was very confident in her 1,000 transformation wheel. She believed that even if a middle-stage essence-building realm cultivator met with her 1,000 transformation wheel, they would have to go all out to resist it. If they were even a little bit careless, then they would be swept away by her will shadows. If one was hit by her will shadow, even if they didn't die, they would be heavily injured. When she brought out the 1,000 transformation wheel, she found that Ningcheng did not immediately bring out his magical weapon, causing her to sneer in her heart. He even went all out to stimulate his chakra light, wanting to shred the place where Ningcheng was standing into pieces. Right at this moment, she suddenly felt that her surroundings seemed to have turned cold, and the chilling intent caused her will light to stagnate. She herself was also affected by this kind of cold, and her true essence was not as smooth as it was at the beginning. This person actually has an ice spirit root? Ren Wanyu was slightly surprised, as the profound ice spear shadows had already formed into a spear net. 30 bone-chilling spear shadows shot out, almost freezing the surrounding area in a radius of several feet. At the same time that Ningcheng shot out, it immediately collided with the 1,000 transformation wheels' explosion of lights. Boom! The majestic imposing manner caused the surrounding area to be torn apart even more thoroughly, as large chunks of hard rocks were blasted apart, turning into dust, completely enveloping the place where Ningcheng and the female cultivator were standing. The surrounding people with weak spiritual consciousness were simply unable to extend their spiritual consciousness into the whirlpool of the battle between the two people. Pa pa pa. The profound ice spear shadows formed into a spear net that seemed to have a substantial substance, as it completely tore apart the surrounding colored wheel lights, causing bursts of crackling sounds to ring out. As the formidable spear shadows pressed down on her body, Ren Wanyu's complexion changed. If she could not block this dense profound ice spear net, then even if she was not killed by the spear shadows, she would still be frozen solid by the cold. It was not until this moment that she understood that she was far from being Ningcheng's opponent. Wu Zhen could already see that once Ningcheng's spear net covered Ren Wanyu, then Ren Wanyu would die without a doubt. At this time he did not have any hesitation. The flying fire crow in his hands did not hesitate for even half a moment as it shot out. 2 terrifying blazing flames spat out from the flying fire crow, and formed a half-moon shape between the profound ice spear shadows and the colored wheel shadows. Some of the cultivators with weaker cultivations once again retreated a lot. With this kind of terrifying temperature, once even a little bit of it splashed onto their body, then they would definitely die. Some of the cultivators who were standing on Ningcheng's side were already worried about Ningcheng. They did not know how Ningcheng would deal with this kind of terrifying flying fire crow's flames. Ningcheng's profound ice spear shadows seemed to be slightly weakened because of this incomparably hot flame. Ren Wanyu felt a burst of relief and was just thinking of withdrawing her 1,000 transformation wheel and then fight alongside Wu Zhen against Ningcheng, when she felt a kind of killing intent that made her entire body go cold. This was not a chill that came from her body, rather it was a chill that came from her will and her soul. A golden axe trace appeared out of thin air. As it fell down from the void, she seemed to feel that her consciousness was also being struck by an axe shadow. This axe shadow even wanted to cut through her mind. The axe trace cut through all the surrounding true essence and imposing manner of the magical weapons, as it rumbled towards her. The 1,000 transformation wheel's will shadows were directly split apart by the golden axe shadow, and instantly dimmed. The 2 terrifying flames that the flying fire crow spat out were also directly split into 2 halves by the golden axe shadow. Just as half of the flames were blown away by Ningcheng, Ningcheng was aware that the Star River in his Zifu moved, as an invisible force swept over the flames. The flames that were split apart by the axe trace were directly swept away by the Star River, and disappeared without a trace. Such a powerful axe-type killing intent. Ren Wanyu frantically retreated. She had been fighting against the killing intent of this hill for a long time. So when Ningcheng's axe-type killing intent came out, she was immediately aware of it. This kind of feeling of being split apart made her shocked, so much so that she could not even give birth to half a thought of resistance. Puff. Ren Wanyu was already at a disadvantage, and did not have the ability to resist at all. Ningcheng's angry axe, the first style, made her feel a chill in her heart, as the golden axe shadow passed through her dantian, without even the slightest pause. Ningcheng was actually a bit relieved. It seems that even a spiritual artifact also depended on the person using it. Not everyone could threaten him with a spiritual artifact. At this time Wu Zhen could no longer pay attention to Ren Wanyu, As Ning Cheng's golden axe shadow descended, the formidable axe-type killing intent rumbled towards him. He immediately felt that it was not good. Almost at the same time, he unexpectedly discovered that the flame spouted out by the flying fire crow had disappeared without a trace. This was a strange flame that he had refined between the heavens and the earth. It was absolutely impossible for it to disappear without any reason. The formidable golden axe-type killing intent did not allow Wu Zhen to think too much, as the flying fire crow had already been completely stimulated. Catcha! The golden axe trace, with a formidable killing intent, exploded on Wu Zhen's flying fire crow, causing the true essence to once again explode out, causing the huge crater in the surroundings to become even more thorough. The formidable true essence backlash and the axe-type killing intent caused Wu Zhen to fly upside down. Bang! Wu Zhen was sent flying upside down, as he collided with a true condensation cultivator who was standing far away and watching the fight. However, Ning Cheng's first trace only managed to kill Ren Wanyu, and did not injure Wu Zhen at all. Wu Zhen almost stopped flying upside down, as he once again landed in front of Ning Cheng, as he angrily shouted with flames in his eyes, "You actually dare to kill an essence-building cultivator of my Red Heaven Academy?" While speaking, Wu Zhen's boundless killing intent burst out in a twinkling of an eye. The surrounding gravel that had been smashed into pieces by his imposing manner formed a true essence wall that cut through the air. At this time, Wu Zhen was still talking nonsense, but Ning Cheng was too lazy to even speak half a word. The golden great axe once again split through the air, bringing with it an even more killing intent axe shadow. Wu Zhen's flying fire crow also blasted out. This time the flying fire crow shot out 4 fire lines. The terrifying scorching temperature even burned the surrounding air with a chi-chi sound. As the 4 fire lines collided with Ning Cheng's golden great axe shadow, the killing intent of the axe shadow immediately weakened a bit. The star river in Ning Cheng's Zifu once again moved. The 4 fire lines had just touched the killing intent of the axe shadow, when they were swept away by the star river. Even if Wu Zhen was an idiot, he knew that his magic weapon was being countered by Ning Cheng, coupled with Ning Cheng's terrifying axe-type killing intent. At this time he was very clear, if he continued to fight, then he absolutely would not be Ning Cheng's opponent. Let's leave first. Wu Zhen was incomparably decisive. When he decided to leave, he even abandoned his flying fire crow. His figure immediately faded. It seems that he was using some kind of escape technique. At this time, the golden axe shadow's killing intent had already descended. Wu Zhen's faded figure once again became clear. Under this kind of terrifying axe shadow's killing intent, he simply could not use his escape technique. He had to block the axe shadow's killing intent, or avoid it. Only then would he be able to use his escape technique. I am a person from the Red Heaven 7-Star Academy. If you kill me again, my Red Heaven Academy will definitely not let you go. If you are willing to stop, then the previous matter will be written off. At this time, Wu Zhen did not care about his face. On one hand he was eagerly begging for mercy, on the other hand he was trying to find a way to avoid Ning Cheng's axe-type killing intent. For him, the most important thing right now was to escape. If he wholeheartedly wanted to fight with Ning Cheng, then perhaps he could still hold on for a while. Using this kind of threat to deal with Ning Cheng, Wu Zhen really thought too highly of his Red Heaven Academy. Not to mention that Ning Cheng had already killed 3 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy. Even if he had not started, at this time he would not let Wu Zhen go. After Wu Zhen finished saying this sentence, he immediately felt Ning Cheng's axe-type killing intent. He was overjoyed in his heart. Thinking that his strategy had succeeded, he crazily stimulated his true essence. But he soon fell into despair. The axe-type killing intent that had stagnated for a moment did not dissipate. Rather, it turned into a huge whirlpool. This line of axe-type killing intent turned into a tornado of killing intent, completely engulfing the surroundings. But he was in the middle of this whirlpool. The killing intent that had penetrated into his bone marrow made Wu Zhen unable to escape. He could only reluctantly bring out the flying fire crow. Cha-cha. After the sound of the flying fire crow, Wu Zhen no longer made even the slightest sound. Chapter 143. What a strong killing intent. This killing intent seems to be similar to the killing intent in front of the spiritual grass hills. Indeed, this is the killing intent of the angry axe valley. Moreover, that person is also using a golden great axe. Could it be that he has already comprehended the axe-type killing intent of the angry axe valley? So powerful. The onlookers had been looking for spiritual grasses in front of this hill, and some of them could already feel the formidable axe-type killing intent coming from Ningcheng. Under Ningcheng's formidable axe-type killing intent, even if Ningcheng killed 4 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy, it was already an insignificant matter. Every time the angry axe valley opened, there would always be a lot of people entering, but the people who could truly comprehend the axe intent were very rare. Every person who comprehended the axe intent, as long as they did not fall, would eventually be able to achieve something. Even Song Shua was pleasantly surprised. Ningcheng killing Shang Maogao and Chu Tongfu did not make him feel strange, as he had already experienced Ningcheng's fierceness. He had not thought that Ningcheng would unexpectedly be able to kill 2 essence-building cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would never have believed such a result. Senior apprentice brother Ning, are you already in the essence-building realm? Song Shua now knew that Ningcheng was definitely in the essence-building realm. Senior apprentice brother Ningcheng, it was you who gave me the quota to enter the Angry Axe Valley, and now you saved my life, thank you. Meng Jingxiu came over and spoke to Ningcheng in a very grateful manner. After saying that, she hesitated for a moment and then added a sentence. Senior apprentice brother Ning, I have something else that I want to. Ningcheng raised his hand to stop Meng Jingxiu's words. I know, we can talk about this later. Meng Jingxiu had said in the Moze Grand Plaza that she had entered the Angry Axe Valley, and that she would definitely have something to pay for. As such, Ningcheng had initially suspected that she had some sort of secret in the Angry Axe Valley. Now that Meng Jingxiu mentioned it again, it made him even more sure that what he thought was not wrong. However, it was better to talk about such things when there were only the 2 of them. Ha ha ha. A burst of hearty laughter arrived, as a slender man landed beside Ningcheng and the others. Behind the slender male cultivator were 2 men and a woman. Adding the laughing male cultivator, there were a total of 4 people. Ningcheng's expression remained the same, as if he did not care about this male cultivator. He just nonchalantly picked up the storage bag and magic treasures on the ground, and then calmly looked at the person who came, not saying a word. This slender male cultivator already had the cultivation of essence building 8th level, but the aura coming from his body was very dangerous, and should be a lot stronger than Wu Zhen. Among the 3 people behind him, apart from a short-stature male cultivator, who was only at essence building 3rd level, the other 2 were at essence building 6th level. Friend, I am Luan Hong from the Feng Continent's Profound Moon 7-Star Academy, and I would like to invite you to join our team. How about we borrow each other's strength to search for spiritual herbs together? Not only was Luan Hong handsome, but he also had a slender figure. The way he spoke also made people feel like they were bathing in a spring breeze. Ningcheng frowned. Looking for spiritual grasses together? He had already seen many hills with spirit grasses. Moreover, he had also seen many people dealing with a hill. The hill seemed to have a restriction. However, he did not know the specifics. As soon as he arrived, he immediately clashed with the cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy. And it was only until a moment ago that he finally calmed down. Luan Hong saw that Ningcheng did not understand, and quickly explained. My team has a total of 6 people. The previous Wu Zhen and Ren Yan you have already fallen. If you do not mind, then you can replace them and join our team. We can equally distribute the spiritual grasses that we collect. Seeing that Ningcheng still did not understand, Song Shua spoke from the side. Senior apprentice brother Ning, it's like this. The hills here have many spiritual grasses, but these hills seem to be surrounded by a kind of axe-type killing intent from the Angry Axe Valley. If you cannot use your imposing manner or some other method to break through the axe-type killing intent in front of the hills, then there is no way to enter the hills to collect the spiritual grasses. If you forcibly attack, then not only would you not be able to break through the killing intent in front of the hills, but it would also make the killing intent grow stronger and stronger. Therefore, the essence-building seniors here have formed a team to fight against the killing intent in front of the hills. Once you break through the axe-type killing intent in front of the hills, Then you can enter the hills to collect the spiritual grasses. The strength of the true condensation cultivators is slightly weaker, so they can only swarm up and rely on their imposing manner to break through the hills. As long as the killing intent in front of the hills is broken, then everyone can snatch it together. Moreover, the more powerful they are, the more they can snatch. Because junior apprentice sister Danqin followed behind, she picked up a fruit. Song Shuo explained. Ningcheng immediately came to understand. Originally, the spiritual grasses in the hills were all wrapped up by the killing intent. To deal with the axe-type killing intent in the Angry Axe Valley, he still had some experience. Many thanks for elder brother Luan's appreciation, but I do not intend to form a team with others for the time being. Ningcheng euphemistically cupped his fists and spoke. Luan Hong was a bit regretful, but he still did not give up and tried to persuade him. Friend, the killing intent in here is something that a single person absolutely cannot resist. Previously there were a few essence-building cultivators with powerful cultivations, who wanted to rely on a single person to resist the axe-type killing intent in here. The result was that they were directly killed by the killing intent in here, and did not even have half a shred of resistance. Luan Hong had just seen Ningcheng's attack. Ningcheng's great axe was filled with a formidable axe-type killing intent. If Ningcheng joined them, then their success rate in breaking through the killing intent in front of the hills would definitely increase exponentially. The effect would definitely not be worse than Wu Zhen and Ren Yinyu added together. Ningcheng still smiled and said, "Thank you, but I really do not have any plans to form a team. Moreover, I also have a few junior apprentice brothers and junior apprentice sisters. Even if I wanted to form a team, I would still be together with them." Luan Hong regretfully looked at Song Shuo and the others on the side, and said, "Since that is the case, then forget it." Although Ningcheng was good, but because of Ningcheng he had to form a team with Song Shuo and the others, he was not willing to do so. A few people did not do anything, and instead wanted to distribute the spiritual grasses. How could there be such a good thing? Elder brother Ning, congratulations on successfully advancing to the essence-building realm. Seeing Luan Hong leave, Sitayu, who had long since wanted to come over and say hello, came up with a smile. Senior apprentice brother Xiaocheng, before senior apprentice sister Jing Xiu and senior apprentice brother Tsang were seriously injured. Only this senior apprentice brother came to help. He gave us 2 healing pills. Ruemu Danqin was very grateful to Sitayu. Now that Sitayu came over, she quickly spoke in Ningcheng's ear. Sitayu awkwardly said, "I am really ashamed, my strength is limited, and could only leave behind 2 pills. And then helplessly watch senior apprentice brother Tsang and junior apprentice sister Meng being bullied." Ningcheng quickly said, "Many thanks elder brother Situ. With elder brother Situ's cultivation, for you to be able to do this Ningcheng will definitely remember it." Ningcheng was very clear about the situation here. He would not blame the other people from the Hua continent for not helping out, because if the other people tried to help, then they would only end up dead. Because of this, Sitayu was able to take out the pills to help. It was enough to show his gratitude. Regardless of what would happen when he went out, at this time Ningcheng was showing his prestige here. It was enough to shock anyone here. Among the cultivators from the Hua continent, other than Yong Guyun who had found a backer, the rest of the people were not able to find a backer. Now they wanted to come over and say hello to Ningcheng, and at the same time look for a backer. But thinking that the disciples of the God Wind Academy were being bullied, and none of them came forward, they did not have the face to come forward. Standing together with Yong Guyun was a short cultivator called Lao Sheng, but at this time his complexion was somewhat ugly. He had thought that he could easily kill Ningcheng, but now he knew that Ningcheng could easily kill him. He knew that he was definitely not Wu Zhen's opponent, but now Ningcheng had even killed Wu Zhen. Moreover, it was under the joint attack of 2 essence-building cultivators. With this kind of cultivation, how could he even care about an early-stage essence-building cultivator? Yong Guyun was also staring at Ningcheng in shock. She had not thought that Ningcheng had already successfully advanced to the essence-building realm. Did this guy really have a hybrid spiritual root? Wasn't this cultivation speed simply too terrifying? Other people were not very intuitive about Ningcheng's cultivation level. Many of the people from the Hua continent even thought that Ningcheng had concealed his cultivation level during the great meet in the Moz Grand Plaza. Only she was very clear that Ningcheng had not concealed his cultivation level. Not only did he not conceal his cultivation level, but he had also advanced from the qi-gathering realm to the essence-building realm, and had only used a little bit of time. It was merely 2 years. Yongguyan was obviously a lot of worldly wisdom, as she looked at Lao Sheng, and thought about the words that Lao Sheng had spoken to her before, and immediately knew what Lao Sheng was thinking in his heart. She hurriedly spoke up to comfort him. He has a hybrid spiritual root. It was only in the Angry Axe Valley that he obtained a few opportunities, that he has this kind of cultivation level. Once he comes out of the Angry Axe Valley, not to mention that he would be hunted down by the Red Heaven Academy. Even if he was not hunted down with his qualifications, he would not be able to enter an advanced level academy or an academy. If he wanted to make any big progress, then I estimate that it would be very difficult. Lao Sheng knew that Yongguyan's words were meant to please him, but his complexion still eased a lot. Then he nodded and said, "What you said is right. A rogue cultivator only has 1 or 2 opportunities. It would not always be accompanied by good luck." "That's right. Is the girl beside him really a pure wind spiritual root?" "That's right. Yuying definitely has a pure wind spiritual root. Moreover, when she tested her spiritual root, it was a pure white color." Yongguyan spoke with certainty. A pure white-colored wind spiritual root? Lao Sheng was not Yongguyan, as he almost screamed out loud. He knew that in the Ping continent, as long as the color of a single main spiritual root reached a cloudy white color, then it could be called a pure spiritual root. He had previously thought that Yu Ying's pure wind spiritual root would also be cloudy white. At most it would be white, but he did not think that it would actually be a pure white. Who has a pure white wind spiritual root? A cold voice sounded out from beside Yongguyan and Lao Sheng. Appearing in front of the two of them was a purple-robed woman with a veil covering her face. Her cultivation should be around true condensation 9th level. And beside her was a middle-aged cultivator. Lao Sheng could only know that this middle-aged cultivator's cultivation was higher than his, but he could not see what level of essence-building realm he was at. "I am Lao Sheng from the Celestial Globe 7-Star Academy." Lao Sheng had not even finished, when he was interrupted by the purple-robed woman with a veil covering her face. "I asked you who has a pure white wind spiritual root, not you." Hearing a true condensation 9th level cultivator speak, Lao Sheng subconsciously shivered as he hurriedly spoke. "She is called Yuying, she is?" Yongguyan also knew that the origin of the two people in front of her was not ordinary, and hurriedly spoke. "Junior apprentice sister Yuying and I are from the Hua continent. She indeed has a pure white wind spiritual root. She is over there." Saying that, Yongguyan pointed towards Yuying, who was still talking to Ruemu Danqin. Chapter 144. You are called Yuying. Do you have a pure white wind spiritual root? The purple-robed woman with a veil covering her face quickly arrived in front of Yuying and opened her mouth to ask. Yuying and Ruemu Danqin's age was similar, although she was a lot more mature than Ruemu Danqin, but with the same age they still had a lot in common. At this time she was chatting nonstop with Ruemu Danqin. Now that a strange woman suddenly stared at her and asked about her spirit roots, she was a little surprised. Although the spirit root was not a secret, he would not casually tell a stranger about it. When the purple-robed woman and the middle-aged male cultivator arrived, Ningcheng had already noticed them. He seemed to have seen these two people when he was mining. Yuying was only 2 or 3 years younger than Ningcheng, but in Ningcheng's opinion, Yuying's age was still too young. Since someone was asking about something, then of course he would have to come forward. "Who are you that you want to ask about Yuying's spiritual roots?" Ningcheng also did not use any honorifics, just like how the purple-robed woman asked Yuying. Ningcheng came from Earth, so he believed that respect should be mutual. Since the other party did not respect him, then there was no need for him to do so. Unless he was facing someone whose cultivation far surpassed his, he would have no choice but to respectfully address him as senior. Of the two people in front of him, one was at true condensation 9th level, while the other was at late-stage essence-building realm. How could he put them in his eyes? Even if he knew that this late-stage essence-building cultivator was not simple, Ningcheng did not care about it. "Your concealment cultivation method is quite good. I don't know if you were at true condensation 9th level when you were mining, or if you had already reached the essence building realm. This purple-robed woman wearing a veil over her face did not get angry because of Ning Cheng's impolite words, but rather spoke about Ning Cheng's cultivation method. She absolutely did not believe that Ning Cheng, who was at the true condensation 3rd level 6 months ago, would have already reached the essence building realm by now. No matter how fast a person's cultivation was, it was impossible to be this fast. Ning Cheng thought to himself, sure enough, these two people really were there when he was mining. He simply said, when I was mining, I was already at true condensation 9th level, and dug out 2 best quality spirit stones from the spirit stone mine. Later, I used 2 best quality spirit stones to successfully enter the essence building realm. When she heard Ning Cheng say that he had dug out a best quality spirit stone, the purple-robed woman wearing a veil over her face also showed a slight shock in her eyes. But when she heard that Ning Cheng had used best quality spirit stones to build the essence building realm, her eyes revealed a trace of ridicule, as she spoke in a light voice, using best quality spirit stones to build the essence building realm, moreover using 2 of them. This is the first time that I have heard of such a thing. You really are rich. Ning Cheng did not care about this purple-robed woman's sarcasm, as he turned to Song Shua and the others and said, let's go to the hills in front of us to have a look, and see if we can make a small fortune. Wait, Yuing has not answered my question. This purple-robed woman stopped Ning Cheng and the others. Ning Cheng frowned and spoke with some displeasure. The few of us have nothing to do with you, and have never seen you before, so why should we tell you about our spiritual roots? Aren't you making things too difficult for me? The middle-aged male cultivator, on seeing that Ning Cheng and the purple-robed woman were not in agreement with each other, quickly came forward and cupped his fists before speaking. This friend, please do not misunderstand, we are from the Lu Continent's Thoughtless Academy. We just happened to come here, and heard some people say that Yuing has a pure white wind spiritual root, so we really wanted to ask her, if Yuing really does have a pure white wind spiritual root, then our Thoughtless Academy would definitely welcome her to join us. As soon as the 3 words Thoughtless Academy came out, all the surrounding people who heard it immediately turned silent, as they looked at the middle-aged cultivator and the purple-robed woman with eyes filled with respect and worship. Some of the people looked at Yuing with even more envy, as they could not wait to immediately replace Yu Ying's position. On Ning Cheng's side, other than Song Shua, the rest of the people were all country bumpkins from the Hua continent. As such, none of them had heard of the Thoughtless Academy. Song Shua knew that Ning Cheng and the others did not know about it, as he spoke in a low voice. I heard that the Thoughtless Academy is one of the 3 major academies of the Lu continent, and is also one of the 3 major academies of the Yixing mainland. The academy has many strong people, and has a very high status in the Yixing mainland. But I also heard that the Thoughtless Academy is extremely strict when it comes to recruiting disciples. If one does not have a certain level of qualifications, then they will not accept them. Once they are accepted, then the resources within the academy will also be available. You are wrong. After you join the Thoughtless Academy, you will not be able to get all the resources you need. All the resources are used to cultivate the core disciples. Ordinary disciples need to struggle on their own in order to get the cultivation resources that they want. The purple-robed woman apparently heard Song Shua's words, and immediately retorted. But Ning Cheng was moved in his heart. No wonder this purple-robed woman had such a high and mighty appearance. It seems that she really does have some capital. If Yuing joined the Thoughtless Academy, then that old man surnamed Kong would just be like floating clouds to her. Yuing, you answer her truthfully. Ning Cheng nodded towards Yuing, who was looking at him. When Yuing saw Ning Cheng nod, she gave a salute to the purple-robed woman and said, replying to this elder sister's words, I really do have a pure white wind spiritual root. At this point, the purple-robed woman and the middle-aged male cultivator already understood that Ning Cheng was the leader here. When they heard Yuing say that she had a pure white wind spiritual root, their eyes flashed with a trace of excitement. A pure white wind spiritual root, even the Thoughtless Academy did not have it. Are you willing to join my Thoughtless Academy? The purple-robed woman did not even discuss with the middle-aged male cultivator, and eagerly looked at Yuing and asked. Saying that, she seemed to have remembered that Ning Cheng was the one in charge, and quickly said to Ning Cheng, "My Thoughtless Academy is one of the 3 major academies in the entire Yixing mainland. Yu Ying has such a spiritual root qualification. Only by joining the Thoughtless Academy would she be able to obtain the greatest improvement." In Ning Cheng's heart, he really hoped that Yu Ying would join the Thoughtless Academy. Yu Ying was currently in a lot of trouble. Moreover, he did not have the strength to fight against that cultivator surnamed Kong. Yu Ying also heard Song Shua's introduction of the Thoughtless Academy, and from the bottom of her heart she really wanted to join the Thoughtless Academy. But she knew that Ning Cheng had also offended that cultivator surnamed Kong. Thinking till here, Yu Ying quickly said, "Many thanks to this elder sister's kindness. Ning Cheng is my senior apprentice brother. I hope that he can also join the Thoughtless Academy." Speaking till here, she once again remembered Song Shua and the others and added a sentence, "We had previously offended the Red Heaven Academy, so I want to be with them." Yu Ying did not say that she hoped that Song Shua and the others would also join the Thoughtless Academy, but this purple-robed woman had already heard the meaning behind Yu Ying's words, causing her to suddenly frown. The Thoughtless Academy's recruitment of disciples was extremely strict. It was not something that anyone could casually join. Ning Cheng had used 2 best quality spirit stones to advance to the essence-building realm. It would be strange if his spiritual root qualification was good. The purple-robed woman and the middle-aged cultivator exchanged glances, and then looked at Ruemu Danqin and the others and asked, "What kind of spiritual roots do the few of you have?" Ruemu Danqin was the first to speak. "I have a white pure fire spiritual root." "White pure fire spiritual root. Not bad. With your spiritual root, you can join our Thoughtless Academy's inner sect." The purple-robed woman's eyes flashed with a hint of joy. If the rest of the people also had good spiritual roots, then she could also make the decision to join the Thoughtless Academy. In that case, Yu Ying would definitely join the Thoughtless Academy. But these few people with good spiritual roots seemed to be unlikely. At least the leader of the group, senior apprentice brother Ning, did not have a good spiritual root. "I have a muddy white main earth spiritual root, which is also a pure spiritual root." Song Shua also quickly spoke. The purple-robed woman's eyes showed a trace of disappointment, and then said, "Only a pure white spiritual root can be called a pure spiritual root. Even Ruemu Danqin's white fire spiritual root cannot be called a pure spiritual root." Song Shua said in a puzzled voice, "But when I tested for my spiritual root, I obviously only had a single main spiritual root." The middle-aged man showed a faint smile. "That is because the Hua continent's spiritual root testing magical weapon is wrong. As long as the main spiritual root is protruding, and the support spiritual root is not very obvious, some of the support spiritual roots cannot be tested. Because of this, the Hua continent's pure spiritual roots are as many as the hairs on an ox." Song Shua looked at the middle-aged man's mouth with a trace of a smile. How could he not understand the meaning of the other party? His face was somewhat hot. He was a core disciple of the God-Wind Academy, not because his father was the dean, but because he truly had a pure spiritual root. He did not think that the Hua continent's pure spiritual roots and the other high-leveled continent's pure spiritual roots would have such a big difference. The purple-robed woman said, "Even so, but you are now qualified to join our Wunyan Academy's outer sect. As for whether or not you can become an inner sect disciple, it will depend on the degree of effort you put in." Even if it was the Wunyan Academy's outer sect disciple, Song Shua would still be 100 times more willing, as he understood the Wunyan Academy the best. But now that Yu Ying had not nodded her head, he could not show it, and could only thank the other party. He had already made up his mind. As long as he could join the Wunyan Academy, he would ask Yu Ying to help him ask for a profound rainbow pill from the Wunyan Academy. Meng Jingxiu said in a somewhat depressed manner, "I have a gold main spiritual root, although it is muddy white, but it is a 3-line hybrid spiritual root." The purple-robed woman frowned and said, "With your qualifications, there is no way for you to become an outer sect disciple of the Wunyan Academy. If you do not mind, I can arrange for you to go to the Wunyan Academy shops to do some chores." Meng Jingxiu had always been a proud and arrogant person. How could she accept going to the Wunyan Academy to do some chores? She gave a salute and said, Many thanks to this senior apprentice sister's kindness, but I have already decided to become a rogue cultivator. Originally Meng Jingxiu had intended to return to the Godwind Academy, but now that she had seen too many powerful academies and talented people in the Angry Axe Valley, she no longer had any thoughts of returning to the Godwind Academy. The purple-robed woman nodded, and took out a pill and handed it to Meng Jingxiu and said, "This pill can help you recover from the injury on your arm in the shortest possible time, and will not affect your future cultivation." Some of the surrounding people were already anxious for Meng Jingxiu. Even if she went to the Wunian Academy's shops to do some chores, it would still be several times better than going to an ordinary academy or a rogue cultivator. This silly woman unexpectedly refused. Meng Jingxiu quickly took the pill, and once again thanked her. In the face of such a good thing, she would not refuse it. Once she refused, it would be the same as taking her own life as a joke. But Ning Cheng had some doubts in his heart. Meng Jingxiu also had a hybrid spiritual root, so how could she see the changes in the leather parchment? Even if she could only see 2 of them, but after all she could see the changes. According to his previous thoughts, a hybrid spiritual root would not be able to see the changes in the leather parchment. "What about you?" The purple-robed woman's words interrupted Ning Cheng's thoughts. Chapter 145. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and said, "I have a multi-line hybrid spiritual root. I do not want to go to the shops, so I will not go to the Wunian Academy." Big brother Ning. Yuing, on hearing Ning Cheng say that he would not go to the Wunian Academy, became anxious in her heart, and called out. Ning Cheng motioned to Yuing not to worry and calmly said, "Yuing, going to the Wunian Academy is the best thing for you. You can go to the Wunian Academy and speak about your own matters. The Wunian Academy will definitely help you. This kind of thing does not need to be concealed. I have my own matters. I think you are also clear about it. In the future, maybe I will go to the Wunian Academy with Luo Fei to see you brother and sister." Despite Ning Cheng's explanation, Yuing was still somewhat anxious in her heart, and hastily said to the purple-robed woman, "Elder sister, although big brother Ning has a hybrid spiritual root, but his strength is amazing. He is absolutely not comparable to an ordinary essence-building cultivator. Moreover big brother Ning is..." The purple-robed woman said in a light voice, "The reason why the Wunian Academy is a big sect is not because of the same level of strength as you can enter. The Wunian Academy is more interested in potential. For a disciple with no potential, to be able to join the Wunian Academy shop management is already the best that I can do." Ning Cheng's strength was strong. She was clearer than Yuing. She did not see the scene of Ning Cheng killing the 2 essence-building cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy, but when Ning Cheng was robbing the mine, he had fought against 6 people. Initially she thought that Ning Cheng was at true condensation 3rd level, but now it seems that Ning Cheng was not at true condensation 3rd level, but rather true condensation 9th level. It was just that Ning Cheng had concealed his cultivation. As for why Ning Cheng could fight against 6 people at the same level, in addition to him concealing his cultivation, the others also underestimated him. It should be because of his comprehension of the axe intent. She was sure that Ning Cheng had comprehended a kind of axe intent in the Angry Axe Valley. Only having the ability to comprehend, without a greater potential, was not qualified to join the Wunian Academy. Even if one's comprehension was amazing, it would be impossible for one to fight against a profound congealing cultivator, or even a profound core cultivator. Therefore, in a big sect, qualifications were the most important thing, followed by other things. Seeing that Yuing still wanted to say something, Ning Cheng quickly stopped Yu Ying's words. "Yuing, if you return to the Hua continent first, then help me see Luo Fei. Later when you come to the Wunian Academy, cultivate." Ning Cheng knew that Yuing would definitely go to the Hua continent. Yuing had a pure white wind spiritual root. Her big brother's spiritual root qualification was not worse than hers. The Wunian Academy had no reason to not want her brother. "And I will definitely go and see elder sister Luo Fei. As for this pearl hair clip, I will definitely keep it." Yuing took out the pearl hair clip. Her heart suddenly felt somewhat reluctant. Being together with Ning Cheng, although they spent most of their time in cultivation, she liked that feeling very much. "Let's go." the purple-robed woman said straightforwardly. Ruemu Danqin and Song Shua also came over to say their goodbyes to Ning Cheng. They were very clear that even if Ning Cheng was powerful, but with the cultivation of essence-building realm, it would be very difficult for him to go to the Lu continent by himself. Looking at the purple-robed woman and the middle-aged male cultivator leaving with Yu Ying and the other two people, Ning Cheng was somewhat puzzled. There were so many spiritual grass hills here. Yet this purple-robed woman actually did not care about it. Meng Jingxiu was not at all disappointed. She could see the doubts in Ning Cheng's eyes, and took the initiative to speak up. Because there are too many good things in here. With the strength of the Wunian Academy, I don't think that they would care about these low-leveled spiritual grasses, right? Brother Ning, I'm also going to look for some spiritual grasses. Situ, seeing Yu Ying and the others leave, came over and said. Ning Cheng patted Situ's shoulder and said, "Go ahead, if anyone dares to snatch your spiritual grasses, then you can come and find me." Situ was overjoyed in his heart. What he wanted to hear were these words. With Ning Cheng killing 2 essence-building cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy, there really would not be anyone who would dare to find trouble with Situ and the others. Seeing Situ leave, Meng Jingxiu took the initiative to speak up. "Senior apprentice Brother Ning, should we go to another place, or should we go and get some spiritual grasses from these hills?" Ning Cheng gave a smile and said, "Since we are already here, of course we should first get some spiritual grasses. This place is just what I want." The spiritual grasses in this place were surrounded by the angry axe-killing intent outside the hills, and he had comprehended the angry axe-killing intent. Ning Cheng believed that with his own ability, he would be able to break through the angry axe-killing intent in this place. If it really did not work, then he would just have to find some people to form a team with. Ning Cheng took Meng Jingxiu and left. The rest of the surrounding cultivators also dispersed. Each of them went to look for spiritual grass hills, looking for a way to break through the killing intent of these hills. As for the matter of the Red Heaven Academy's disciples being killed in this angry axe valley, it was obviously not a big deal. Even if they wanted to find Ning Cheng to settle accounts, it would be a matter for them after they left the angry axe valley. Let's choose this one. Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu stood in front of a verdant green hill and said. Meng Jingxiu gave an end sound, and was about to bring out her halberd. He saw that many cultivators had brought out their magical weapons, and then relied on the killing force of their magical weapons to resist these spiritual grass hills. Ning Cheng stopped Meng Jingxiu and said, "You follow behind me. If you rely on your magical weapons to resist the angry axe-killing intent here, then the two of us will definitely not be able to break through this hill. I will try it out by myself first." Ning Cheng took a few steps forward. When he approached the hill, a powerful and continuous killing intent suddenly crashed down on him. If he was caught off guard, then perhaps he would have been smashed into slag by this killing intent. Meng Jingxiu followed behind Ning Cheng. The killing intent that was being emitted from the hill was completely blocked by Ning Cheng. As such, she was not even aware of it. Just when she was puzzled, she saw Ning Cheng's entire body start to tremble. Not waiting for her to open her mouth to ask, Ning Cheng suddenly brought out his golden great axe and chopped it down. A pale golden axe trace appeared in front of Meng Jingxiu's eyes, as if it was cutting through the sky. Meng Jingxiu sluggishly looked at this golden axe trace, and was still in a daze in her heart. Didn't Ning Cheng say that he could not rely on his magical weapons to attack? Why did he want to attack? At this time, Ning Cheng did not remember that he had once said such words, as he once again returned to the scene in the angry axe valley. It was as if there were countless axe traces filled with a powerful axe intent bombarding his consciousness. If he did not resist, then he would end up like that Lan Yuchun, and would eventually be killed by this powerful axe intent. His resistance was completely subconscious. Because Ning Cheng had killed 4 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy, and also had his companions taken away by the Lu Continent's Wunian Academy. For all the people here, Ning Cheng could be considered as a celebrity. Every move that he made was noticed by some people. Some people saw that Ning Cheng was trying to break through the killing intent in front of the spiritual grass hills, but did not care about it. The people who had just arrived here had already done such a thing, so when the killing intent surged out, the people who did such a thing would know how stupid they were, and would take the initiative to retreat, and then look for other people to team up with them. But these people who were paying attention to Ning Cheng did not think that Ning Cheng not only did not retreat, but instead brought out his own magical weapon. Some of the people could not even bear to look at it. As long as they retreated, it would not be a problem. Once they brought out their magical weapon to confront the killing intent in this place, then it would only be courting death. Before, there were several essence-building cultivators who relied on their own strength, but now they did not even have their bones left. It was because they dared to bring out their magical weapons to confront the killing intent in this place. Ning Cheng bringing out his golden great axe to confront the killing intent in this place was not an impulsive action. He had already encountered this kind of situation in the real Angry Axe Valley. He vaguely understood that the axe intent that he had comprehended and the killing intent in this place had already formed a resonance, which made him completely different from the others. If he retreated, then it was very likely that he would be killed by the axe intent of this hill. The axe intent of the Angry Axe Valley was all about moving forward and never retreating. Ka. A very light and almost inaudible sound rang out, which was something that no one expected. Ning Cheng's axe intent was very formidable. According to reason, his axe intent should have caused a huge explosion of true essence, and then Ning Cheng would have been killed by the formidable killing intent. But they did not expect that Ning Cheng's axe intent would only cause a very slight sound. If one did not concentrate, then they would not even be able to hear this sound. A vague idea arose in Ning Cheng's consciousness. This kind of feeling flashed by. Ning Cheng did not even have time to catch it, before it disappeared. Ning Cheng sighed. He understood that this was definitely a new kind of axe intent, but unfortunately the axe intent in this place could not be compared to the real Angry Axe Valley. As such, he unexpectedly could not catch it. After this vague feeling disappeared, Ning Cheng felt that the killing intent in front of him had suddenly disappeared. It was as if an invisible road had appeared in front of him. The killing intent has disappeared. Let's quickly go in and collect the spiritual grasses, Ning Cheng said in a pleasantly surprised voice. He had not thought that with just a simple axe, he would be able to split open the killing intent barrier in front of the spiritual grass hill. Hey, he was not strangled by the killing intent. Rather, he went in. As soon as Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu entered the hill, they were immediately noticed by some people. Some of the greedy people hurriedly rushed in. Their thinking was very simple. They did not want to snatch the high-leveled spiritual grasses from Ning Cheng, but they wanted to snatch the low-leveled spiritual grasses that Ning Cheng did not want. But these people had not even rushed to the foot of the hill, when they were immediately blown away by the formidable killing intent. The killing intent in front of the hill is still there. How did they get in? After some people understood this point, they immediately called out in horror. Before all the hills, only after the killing intent was blasted away by the combined imposing manner of the many cultivators, only then would they be able to enter. Moreover, once the killing intent was blasted away, the killing intent in this place would also dissipate. But it was completely different from what Ning Cheng was doing. He had only used his axe to split open the killing intent in front of the hill, but it did not make the killing intent in this place disappear. I understand he has comprehended the axe intent of the Angry Axe Valley. As such, he can use this axe intent to blast open the killing intent. None of the cultivators here were stupid. Previously, when Ning Cheng had used his axe technique, it was obvious that he had grasped a very formidable axe-type killing intent. Now that Ning Cheng had used the same axe trace to blast open the killing intent barrier in front of the spiritual grass hill, it was not difficult to think of this. That's right, it is exactly like this. Originally, the best way to resist the killing intent in front of the hill is to comprehend the axe intent here, rather than relying on the imposing manner of the people to win. Immediately, some people understood how to break open the killing intent in front of the hill. Some of the cultivators even found a hill with a killing intent barrier, as they sat down and closed their eyes to carefully comprehend it. But at this time, Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu were wantonly collecting the spiritual grasses. The spiritual grasses in this place were very rich, but there were only 2 people collecting them. This was simply the dream of Ning Cheng. There was only a single thought in his mind, and that was to wait until he got out of this place. Then he would finally have the spiritual grasses for alchemy. Chapter 146. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning. Why don't you even let go of some rank 1 and 2 spiritual grasses? Meng Jingxiu saw that as long as Ning Cheng found a spiritual grass, he would definitely collect it, and simply did not care about the grades. In fact, there were too many good things in the hill. There were level 1 spiritual herbs to level 4 spiritual herbs. There were even some level 5 spiritual herbs. Ning Cheng smiled and spoke. I am ready to learn alchemy, so these spiritual grasses are useful to me. You want to learn alchemy? Meng Jingxiu stared at Ning Cheng with wide eyes, and only reacted after a long while. It was because she knew how difficult refining pills was that she was so amazed. Not to mention the countless spiritual herbs and resources needed for alchemy, which was not something that ordinary people could afford. Even the innate conditions for alchemy were not something that anyone could do. The best spirit root for alchemy was the main fire spirit root, with wood spirit root as a supplement. Moreover, the spirit root could not be too mixed. Apart from that, he also needed to have an extremely strong talent in alchemy. Because of this, in the entire Yixing mainland, there were very few alchemy masters. Moreover, advanced level alchemy masters were even rarer. Ning Cheng seemed to have known that Meng Jingxiu would have such an attitude, and did not care about it, as he casually spoke. You can give me the low-leveled spiritual grasses, I will need them for alchemy. Meng Jingxiu had already calmed down and also gave a smile. I don't want spiritual grasses, I didn't come here for spiritual grasses, I will give these spiritual grasses to you. Meng Jingxiu's words caused Ning Cheng to feel a bit embarrassed. He wanted to explain, but after some thought he decided against it. Meng Jingxiu really did not have any use for spiritual grasses. I've always been alone, so I'm a bit of a loner. I don't know the right way to speak or do things. Previously in the Moz Grand Plaza, I hope that Senior Apprentice Brother Ning does not mind. Meng Jingxiu had always wanted to sincerely apologize to Ning Cheng, but now that she heard Ning Cheng say that he wanted to learn alchemy, this kind of funny words, her mood immediately relaxed, and instead spoke it out. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. I did not have a good impression of you before, but after I saw that your magical weapon was a halberd, I knew that you were a straightforward person, so I did not mind it at all. Actually, you should smile more. You look much prettier when you smile. Ning Cheng came from Earth. Praising a woman for her beauty was a very normal thing. It did not necessarily mean that he would like others. Meng Jingxiu's skin was slightly dark, and she was indeed very beautiful. In the past, she had always kept a straight face. Now that she had more smiles on her face, it was normal for her to display her feminine charm. Meng Jingxiu's face turned slightly red, as she lowered her head and did not speak. Although she was confident that she was not ugly, but she knew that the reason Ning Cheng said that she was beautiful was not because he liked her. This woman's intuition could not be expressed in words. Furthermore, there were too many things that she had to do. Finding a partner was simply impossible. Oh, for essence raising fruits. Ning Cheng casually said a sentence, as he had already put this matter to one side. What attracted him was the row of 4 elemental raising fruits. Generally, an essence raising fruit would only bear 1 fruit per plant. Moreover, the branches of the essence raising fruit were very small, like an ordinary blade of grass. The essence-raising fruit was the main spiritual fruit used to refine the essence-building Dan. Previously, because Ruemu Danqin had obtained an essence-raising fruit, she had almost provoked a fatal disaster. With the discovery of the essence-raising fruit, more and more spiritual grasses began to appear. The heaven-scented precious zoysia, returning boat flower, gyroscopic luo root, Miss orchid and many other precious spiritual grasses were all discovered by Ning Cheng. Seeing the heaven-fragrant precious zoysia, Ning Cheng immediately remembered an who was still in the Falling Star Academy. At that time, in order to find a heaven-fragrant precious zoysia, she had gone through a lot of hardships, but now he actually managed to obtain one. The Zhou Huanhua flower could be considered as a pill that could be refined for the cultivation of an essence-building cultivator. But the declivity luo root and the mist orchid were very amazing. Especially the declivity luo root, although its rank was not as high as the mist orchid, but it was a rank 4 spiritual grass of the best quality. This kind of spiritual grass could be used to refine the divine camel pill. The divine camel pill was a rank 4 true pill. When a low-leveled cultivator was cultivating, once they were distracted, then the divine camel pill would be the best pill. The spiritual grasses on this hill were enough to fill up Ning Cheng's 2 storage bags. Of course, this also included the ones that Meng Jingxiu had given him. Meng Jingxiu only kept a very small part of the spiritual grasses that she might use, and gave the rest to Ning Cheng. This place is really good, junior apprentice Sister Jingxiu. Let's change to another hill and continue. Ning Cheng rubbed his hands as he looked forward to the Angry Axe Valley. Meng Jingxiu gave an N sound and hesitated for a moment before saying, Senior apprentice brother Ning, why don't we first go to the place that I mentioned? Although there are many spiritual grasses here, but they are all low-leveled spiritual grasses. Because of the changes that occurred in the Angry Axe Valley, I am afraid that we might not be able to go to that place, and would already be transmitted out. Ning Cheng immediately recovered from the thought of collecting countless spiritual grasses, and felt that what Meng Jingxiu said was not without reason. Who knows when the Angry Axe Valley would suddenly be transmitted out? Thinking till here, he cautiously asked, Junior apprentice Sister Jingxiu, what kind of place is this in the Angry Axe Valley? Moreover, how did you know about this place? Meng Jingxiu did not have the time to answer. When Ning Cheng felt as if the surroundings had suddenly turned violent, this kind of feeling made Ning Cheng feel an extreme sense of danger. He simply did not have the time to think about it, as he directly grabbed Meng Jingxiu, and his whole body turned into a shadow as he flew out of the hill. Meng Jingxiu, who was being held by Ning Cheng, immediately knew that something had happened. As such, she did not dare to move at all. Sure enough, the next moment a terrible explosion erupted at the place where the two of them were standing. Bang! A terrible explosion sounded from behind Ning Cheng, as a formidable impact force directly hit Ning Cheng's back, causing the clothes on Ning Cheng's back to be torn to shreds. Bang! A sound rang out, as Ning Cheng was directly hit by the formidable explosive force and fell into an abandoned pit in the distance, as he was pressed together with Meng Jingxiu. Meng Jingxiu's injuries had not yet completely healed, so when she was hit by Ning Cheng, she immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Although Ning Cheng was at essence building first level, but his true essence was incomparably vigorous, although the clothes on his back were blown to shreds, but he was not injured at all. He picked up Meng Jingxiu and said in an apologetic tone, I don't know what happened a moment ago, but the hill that we were standing on suddenly exploded. I did not pay attention, and let you get injured again. Meng Jingxiu stood up, as she wiped the blood from the corners of her mouth and said, I'm fine, if not for you a moment, perhaps I would not have been able to come out. All the people were looking at the hill that Ning Cheng was standing on in amazement. At this time the hill had already disappeared, and had even turned into a deep pit. That kind of terrifying explosive force, even if it was given to any cultivator with the cultivation of essence building realm, they would not be able to withstand it. In other words, if they had been there to collect spiritual grasses, then they would have already died by now. Several of the essence-building cultivators were just about to come over and ask Ning Cheng what had happened, when a few more violent explosions sounded out. 2 more hills suddenly exploded, but this time the cultivators inside the hills were not as lucky as Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu. In addition to more than a dozen cultivators who managed to rush out, the cultivators inside the hills, or the cultivators nearby, did not manage to escape, as all of them turned into dust under the violent explosions. The cultivators who were still looking for spiritual grasses, or the cultivators who were still teaming up to break open the hills, immediately retreated. Sure enough, these cultivators had not gone far, when more and more hills began to explode. Finally, it formed into a continuous imposing manner, as the roaring sounds continued without end. Some of the cultivators who were not able to escape in time were affected by the explosions in batches, and ended up falling. Sure enough, we escaped early. Ning Cheng spoke with a lingering fear in his heart. If he had been even a little bit slower, then perhaps he would have already fallen under the explosions. But there was still a sentence that he did not say, that was, these explosions definitely had a reason. It was impossible for them to explode continuously without any reason, and blow up all the hills that had not yet been able to collect the spiritual grasses. The smoke and gravel and dust from the explosions had completely covered the entire area. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept towards Situ Yu and the others, and found that they were not in any danger, causing him to feel a bit relieved. The Angry Axe Valley. It is the Angry Axe Valley. The Angry Axe Valley has appeared. An incoherent voice sounded out. This voice immediately attracted the attention of all the people. Immediately more and more people began to call out incoherently. They really were able to see the Angry Axe Valley. Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu also clearly saw a huge valley in front of them. This valley looked as if it had been carved out by an axe. It was flat and smooth. A trace of killing intent leaked out, causing people to feel a chill run down their spines. But Ning Cheng vaguely felt that this Angry Axe Valley was somewhat different from the Angry Axe Valley that he had seen when he first came here. But as to what was different, he could not say it. The cultivators, who were initially depressed because of the flattened spiritual grass hill, became excited again. The hill was flattened, but the Angry Axe Valley actually appeared. This was simply a real opportunity. As long as he could comprehend a little bit of axe intent in the Angry Axe Valley, it would be a great trump card in the future. Did they not see the early stage essence building cultivator, who had comprehended a trace of axe intent, kill 2 essence building experts from the Red Heaven Academy? There was even one who was at essence building 7th level. What did he rely on? This was the axe intent. Senior apprentice Brother Ning, I seem to feel a kind of killing intent. Meng Jingxiu also spoke up in a pleasantly surprised voice. Her halberd technique had an incomparably imposing manner, but she felt that it lacked a kind of concept. This kind of concept was the real killing intent. In other words, the halberd intent. If she could comprehend the halberd intent here, then her combat prowess would increase by more than 1-fold. Ning Cheng saw that countless people were rushing towards the Angry Axe Valley, and also nodded. You quickly go in, I'll come back to look for you in a while. Senior apprentice Brother Ning, are you not going in? Meng Jingxiu asked as she looked at Ning Cheng in doubt. I can feel the axe intent here, I can feel it. Ning Cheng quickly said. He could feel that this Axe Valley was somewhat similar to the Axe Valley that he had seen before, but it was definitely different. This Axe Valley looked very flat, but when one used their spiritual consciousness to observe the surroundings, one would find that the axe trace was surrounded by countless tiny cracks. But Ning Cheng, from these cracks, was able to vaguely feel the third kind of axe intent that he had previously felt. Chapter 147. He stared at the spot where Ning Cheng had disappeared into the Axe Valley for a long time, before he turned around and walked away. This was the first person who saw the Angry Axe Valley, but did not enter it. I really do not know you. When the Angry Axe Valley appeared, I and a few of my companions came here to comprehend the axe intent. My companions were looking for spiritual grasses, and I just happened to be able to comprehend a trace of axe intent, so I decided to stay behind. This true condensation 5th level cultivator saw that Ning Cheng's expression did not seem to be fake, and took the initiative to explain. At the same time, he was puzzled. Was this person really that powerful? But why haven't I heard of him? For Ning Cheng, as long as he understood this truth, then the following matters would be much easier to handle. He was once again immersed in the cracks of these axe traces. As for the fake axe valley in the middle of these cracks, it had long since been abandoned by him. An axe trace appeared out of thin air, as it formed in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness. This axe trace crack, which was originally destroyed by the axe valley, connected the cracks on both sides of the axe valley. Ning Cheng rushed all the way. This axe valley was unexpectedly very long. Even with his spiritual consciousness, he was simply unable to sweep to the end. After another half a day, Ning Cheng finally saw a living cultivator. Friend, may I ask if you have seen my companion? Did the rest of the people here go to the front? Ning Cheng directly landed in front of the cultivator. Ning Cheng did not open his eyes, as he once again used his spiritual consciousness to investigate the axe valley. Suddenly, Ning Cheng's entire body trembled. He could feel a kind of mysterious thing. Meng Jingxiu did not need to explain the following words. Ning Cheng also understood that this Meng Jingxiu really did not know how to speak. Can't you just say that I don't want to go in? Why did he have to say such offensive words? Furthermore, he was speaking so valiantly. This cultivator was at true condensation 5th level. When he saw Ning Cheng's imposing manner, he knew that he was far from being Ning Cheng's opponent, and immediately stared at Ning Cheng, and spoke in a slow voice. I do not know you, so how would I know who your companion is? In the Angry Axe Valley, one could not even see the shadow of a person. All the people, in order to comprehend the axe intent in the valley, had already gone deep into the valley. To be precise, the only one outside was Ning Cheng. You don't know me? Ning Cheng asked with a frown. The twisted axe shadow exploded on the ground, and a clear and smooth axe scar appeared. The edges of the axe traces were also innumerable twisted veined lines, just like the tiny cracks around the huge axe valley. Just when Ning Cheng was about to clearly perceive the third angry axe's axe intent, the innumerable cracks in the surroundings of the axe valley suddenly broke off in Ning Cheng's consciousness, and no longer had the kind of coherence that he had seen a moment ago. The more Ning Cheng wanted to link this axe intent together, the more he found it difficult. But Ning Cheng soon felt that something was wrong. Almost all of the cultivators who died here did not fall because they were comprehending the axe intent, but rather because they were fighting with each other. The crack marks gradually became clear, while the axe intent also slowly emerged. Although the axe trace that Ning Cheng simulated in his sea of consciousness was different from the original, but it was more of a reflection of Ning Cheng's own imagination of the angry axe. Third move. A tearing and twisting axe shadow blasted out. This twisting axe shadow directly turned all the fist-sized things in the surroundings into powder, while a clear trace of the twisting axe shadow appeared in the air. Around these marks, even smaller cracks appeared, just like the tiny lightning arcs that appeared around the main lightning bolt when the lightning bolt struck down. That true condensation 9th level cultivator who had been chasing Meng Jingxiu, on seeing Ning Cheng come over, moreover knowing that Meng Jingxiu was acquainted with him, couldn't help but curse a few times, before he turned around and walked away. Why was that person chasing you a moment ago? Ning Cheng pointed to the late-stage true condensation cultivator, who had already retreated. Ning Cheng quickly entered the valley. He wanted to see how Meng Jingxiu's comprehension of the axe intent was. If she had already comprehended it, then they would be able to get down to business. If she did not comprehend it, then he would persuade her to leave. This was a fake axe valley. As such, there was no axe intent that could be comprehended. I know, thank you. Saying that, Ning Cheng sped up his pace, and instantly disappeared into the depths of the axe valley. This kind of feeling made him unable to believe it. He finally opened his eyes, and stared at the axe valley for a long time, before he slowly breathed a sigh of relief. Once again closing his eyes, he let the dissipated axe intent once again gather together. He had killed 4 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy, and even refused the invitation of the Wunyan Academy. How could there be someone who did not know him? This true condensation cultivator shook his head and spoke. I don't know what this spiritual grass hill is. It is definitely a best quality spiritual artifact. Moreover, we are still outside the immortal cave, but the entrance of the immortal cave is exuding such a rich spiritual qi. It can be seen that there are even better things inside the immortal cave, Meng Jingxiu said with a slightly flushed face. If Ning Cheng was here, he would certainly be able to recognize that this cultivator was the same King Ho. This kind of contradictory thing, there was only one explanation, that is, there was no axe valley here, but there was a formidable axe intent that caused the cracks in the axe traces. These cracks were originally connected together, but he did not know why. But a peerless powerhouse came here, and deliberately split these cracks in the axe traces, and created an angry axe valley. In fact, it was the axe line cracks that appeared here, and then the axe valley appeared, which was the exact opposite of what most people thought. Did you not come here from the spiritual grass hill? Ning Cheng once again asked. Ning Cheng put away his axe, and closed his eyes for a long time, before he hung the golden great axe on his back and said to himself, This is my angry axe's third type, axe line. Boom! Best quality spiritual artifact? Ning Cheng was also shocked as he repeated the words. What's going on? Ning Cheng did not care about the cultivator who had turned around, as he asked Meng Jingxiu how she ended up in a conflict. It was reasonable to say that Meng Jingxiu had not fully recovered from her injuries. As such, under normal circumstances, she would not have a conflict with other people. Ning Cheng was a bit worried in his heart, although the people here knew of his name, but in case something even better appeared. But no one knew who Ning Cheng was, so they would not have a conflict with him. But the premise was that there was no precious thing that appeared. Once a precious thing appeared, then who would recognize Ning Cheng? After Ning Cheng walked for another 2 hours, he finally saw Meng Jingxiu. Meng Jingxiu was quickly rushing towards him, and behind her there seemed to be a true condensation 9th level cultivator chasing after her. Seeing Meng Jingxiu a bit embarrassed, Ning Cheng said, "Let's go and have a look. It has already been a few days. How is your comprehension of the axe intent?" As these cracks in Ning Cheng's consciousness became more and more complete, Ning Cheng's angry axe's third type was also fully developed. He really did understand that the explosion should have been a big change in the angry axe valley, which caused this fake axe valley to be exposed. So many cultivators who entered the angry axe valley saw this fake axe valley, and immediately entered the fake axe valley to try and comprehend the axe intent. The true condensation cultivator that he had seen a moment ago did not come from his direction. Meng Jingxiu quickly said, "A lot of true condensation cultivators formed a team to enter. There were also 3 of them, and they wanted to pull me into their team. I ignored them, but that person invited me again. I was not in the mood, so I directly said, and told him to take a piss and look at himself." Ning Cheng himself did not know how many days had passed, but in his consciousness, the cracks in the fake axe valley were not completely connected, and could not transform into the real angry axe killing intent. If these cracks could not be connected, then he would not be able to comprehend the third form of the axe intent. Meng Jingxiu shook her head and took out a few spiritual grasses and said, "There are a lot of spiritual grasses here. I managed to get some of them. Moreover, there is also a rainbow light grass that Song Shua was looking for, but the axe intent has not made any progress at all." Meng Jingxiu anxiously said, "Senior apprentice brother Ning, I found an ancient immortal cave here. Moreover, it is the immortal cave of a peerless powerhouse. Many people have already entered it." Soon he stood up, and his complexion was extremely ugly, as he muttered to himself, "This person's progress is simply too astonishing. Not only does he have the cultivation of essence-building realm, but he even managed to comprehend the axe intent in the angry axe valley. I'm afraid that I am not his opponent." Because Ning Cheng had already comprehended the second form of the axe intent, after trying to comprehend it for a few days, he finally understood this truth. "The immortal cave of a peerless powerhouse? How do you know?" Ning Cheng asked in a puzzled manner. When the axe intent completely formed an image in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness, Ning Cheng leapt up without any warning, and immediately brought out the golden great axe from his back. All the people rushed into the axe valley. Only Ning Cheng did not go in. He sat outside of the axe valley, and was completely immersed in the new axe intent. Ning Cheng had just left, when a shadow suddenly rose up from an inconspicuous mound of earth. This shadow quickly arrived at the axe trace that Ning Cheng had left behind, bent down and carefully stroked the axe trace for a long time, and then put his hand under his nose and sniffed. After Ning Cheng entered the axe valley, he did not go far, but he could see many corpses along the way. Initially, Ning Cheng did not care much about it. Comprehending the axe intent in this place was a very dangerous thing. It was not unusual for one to fall at any time. He finally understood what was going on. This axe valley was fake. But the numerous cracks around the axe valley were actually the cracks of the axe intent. In other words, the cracks were real, while the axe valley was fake. As time passed by, the hustle and bustle of the place had long since disappeared. Only Ning Cheng, who was still sitting outside of the axe valley, was surrounded by the axe intent, just like before the explosion, when the hill was surrounded by the killing intent. The traces of the axe intent gradually formed in Ning Cheng's consciousness. Senior apprentice brother Ning. Meng Jingxiu, on seeing Ning Cheng, was immediately overjoyed, and quickly landed beside Ning Cheng. Meng Jingxiu quickly spoke. "I don't know what happened to the array formation that was arranged outside the immortal cave, but it suddenly fell apart. Some of the array flags that were used to arrange the array formation were exposed. Do you know what those array flags were? The lowest was a low-grade spiritual artifact, and there were even high-grade spiritual artifacts used as array flags. An essence-building cultivator from the Feng province even managed to snatch a best-quality spiritual artifact array flag. Chapter 148. Meng Jingxiu was not talking nonsense. When Ning Cheng and her arrived at the entrance of the Immortal Cave, there were already about 1,000 or 2,000 people gathered here. The entrance of the Immortal Cave could be seen as a small public square, and even with so many people here, it did not seem crowded at all. Junior apprentice Sister Jingxiu, I remember that there were more than these people here. Moreover, there were also people from other places. How could there only be these people? Ning Cheng did not feel that there were too many people here. On the contrary, he felt that there were too few people here. Meng Jingxiu pointed to a huge stone door in front of the temporary public square and said, "Don't look at this stone door as if it does not have any kind of barrier. Without a certain level of strength, you simply cannot go in. It is the same as the hill that we went through before. It is blocked by a layer of killing intent." Some of the people who understand array formations said that this stone door is not a simple killing intent barrier, but rather a killing intent restriction. Just relying on the imposing manner of the people here would not be able to break it open. Moreover, the time that I have been here is not short. Moreover, the people who went in are all cultivators with very high cultivation levels, and have an understanding of restrictions as well as a bit of axe intent cultivator. Ning Cheng nodded. Although this stone door was not blocked by a real boulder, but there was a much more powerful killing intent compared to the outside of the hill. What Meng Jingxiu said was not wrong. This killing intent was not formed randomly, but rather it was arranged according to a certain pattern of an array formation. If not for a long time, the killing intent would have dissipated, and the restriction would have been damaged. Ordinary essence-building cultivators, even if they formed a team of 4, they would not be able to go in. As for the rest of the people, after probing that this is not a place that they can go in, they all left. Some went to other places, some went into the depths of the Angry Axe Valley. Meng Jingxiu pointed to the Angry Axe Valley and added, "Let me have a look." Ning Cheng said as he arrived in front of the stone door. In front of the stone door there were 4 true condensation cultivators working together to break the killing intent restriction. Ning Cheng, seeing this, simply stood to the side, waiting for these 4 people to fail, then he would try again. These 4 people were all late-stage true condensation cultivators. After trying several times and failing, one of them finally lost his patience, and directly brought out a magic weapon to attack. Bang! This person's magic weapon hit the empty door, but it did not break through. Instead, it was bounced back by the restriction on the door, and with a strong speed it once again smashed into the chest of that cultivator. This cultivator was sent flying by his own magic weapon, and spat out several mouthfuls of blood in the air, causing the cultivators on both sides to retreat. Another few dozen people quietly left the square. Seeing this, the 3 companions of the cultivator who had been sent flying also moved aside for the time being. Ning Cheng did not care about the 4 people who just left, and directly stood at the entrance of the gate, while simultaneously bringing out his golden great axe. Some of the people who knew Ning Cheng immediately stepped aside. Many of the people who did not know Ning Cheng secretly shook their heads. Just a moment ago, someone had forcibly attacked the door, and was seriously injured by the killing intent. Yet this guy still dared to bring out a magical weapon. For this killing intent restriction, severely injuring someone was already a light punishment. Ning Cheng did not directly attack, as his spiritual consciousness fell onto the open door, and immediately sensed the crisscrossing axe intent. At the same time, there was a kind of imprisonment that bound the axe intents within the scope of the door. In just a short time, Ning Cheng understood that this place was indeed a killing intent restriction. Moreover, this killing intent restriction had indeed been around for a very long time, and its power was not even 1/100th of its original power. If this killing intent restriction still had 1/10th of its power, then no one would be able to enter. "Get out of the way, I want to go in." A rough voice interrupted Ning Cheng's thoughts. Ning Cheng looked back and saw 3 essence-building cultivators, and the one who spoke was at essence-building 5th level, with a fierce face and a valiant demeanor. Behind him, there were 2 cultivators, a man and a woman. The man had a slender appearance, and was a pretty boy, with the cultivation of essence building 6th level. The female cultivator was wearing a red robe, and turned out to be a very beautiful young girl, and also had the cultivation of essence building 6th level. You can go in, but you will have to wait for me to go in first. There is always an order of arrival. Ningqing looked at the 3 people, and spoke in a flat tone. He was also standing in line, and was waiting for the 4 people in front of him to fail. Only then would it be his turn to open the restriction. Now that he had not even started, why should he give up his position to others? Many of the people on the side knew the origins of these 3 people, and some of them began to sneer. This guy really does not know life from death. He even dares to compete with the people from the White Moon Sword Sect and the Twin Polarity Academy. That young girl should be the White Moon Sword Sect's Helian Gulan, right? The ones beside her are definitely the Twin Polarity Academy's Wuxia and Zhuangxian. If it really is these 3 people, then this person really is courting death. Some of the people on the side echoed. Some of the people who knew Ningqing immediately spoke up in a gloating tone. Who is courting death? You will know in a moment. That Twin Polarity Academy is just similar to the Red Heaven Academy. What's going on? Does this person have a great background? Are you courting death? This father will split you. When this ugly-looking cultivator heard Ningqing's words, he immediately flew into a rage, as he raised his hand, and a gong immediately appeared in his hand. The young girl in the red robe frowned and said, Hongxian, there is indeed an order of arrival. After he has tried it, it would not be too late for us to try it. We have also just arrived here. If this place was so easy to open, then there would not be so many people leaving. When the ugly-looking man called Hongxian heard the words of this young girl, the anger on his face instantly calmed down. What junior apprentice Sister Gulan said is true. I will listen to you. Saying that, he angrily called out to Ningqing. Hurry up, we do not have the time to wait for you. Ningqing was too lazy to pay attention to him, and said to Meng Jingxiu, Junior apprentice Sister Jingxiu, let's go in. Senior apprentice Brother Ning, can you open this place? Meng Jingxiu asked in a pleasantly surprised voice. Ningqing showed a faint smile and said, Of course. Saying that, he raised his hand and grabbed an array flag, while simultaneously raising the golden great axe in his hand. Friend, please wait a moment. An eager voice rushed over, calling out to Ningqing who was about to start. What do you want? Ningqing looked at the cultivator who had just arrived and asked. This was a cultivator who was already at essence building 7th level. When this cultivator came over, even that arrogant ugly-looking man unconsciously moved to the side. He could only vaguely see Ningqing's cultivation, but this cultivator was undoubtedly at essence building 7th level. He was only at essence building 5th level. Compared to essence building 7th level, there was a gap of 2 levels. In the Yixing mainland, the strong were respected. This was a principle that was applicable everywhere. I have seen you twice. It is possible that you do not remember me. The first time we were mining together, but I was busy mining, and did not have the time to greet you. The second time was when I was looking for spiritual grasses in front of the hill, so I am more familiar with you. This essence building 7th level cultivator was very polite, and spoke to Ningqing in a very polite manner. Ningqing nodded. The first words that this person spoke were completely polite words. When they were mining, it was not that he did not have the time to greet him, but rather he disdained to talk nonsense with a person like him. As for the hill, he had killed 4 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy, including a cultivator at essence building 7th level. Moreover, he had used the killing intent to break open the hill as if it was light, so this person must have seen it. Perhaps this person came here to borrow the way, although the killing intent restriction on the stone door was already damaged, but if one did not understand the axe intent and restrictions, then even if one was at essence building 9th level, they would not be able to enter. After this person finished, he did not wait for Ningqing to speak, as he directly threw out a storage bag towards Ningqing and said, These are some of my ores, how about this friend take a look? Ningqing took the storage bag, and found that there were 1,000 high-grade spirit stones inside. 1,000 high-grade spirit stones for an essence-building cultivator. This was not a small amount of wealth. But after Ningqing's spiritual consciousness swept through the storage bag, he still returned the storage bag to the cultivator. He understood the meaning of the opposite party. This was the Angry Axe Valley, and wanted to use 1,000 high-grade spirit stones to enter an ancient immortal mansion. This was simply too cheap. Besides, this person had been mining in the Angry Axe Valley for a long time, so he should have at least tens of thousands of high-grade spirit stones on him. So many spirit stones, but he only took out a trifling 1,000. It would be strange if Ningcheng was willing to accept it. Moreover, for Ningcheng, 1,000 high-grade spirit stones simply did not have any effect on him. Seeing the somewhat surprised look on this person's face, Ningcheng said in a light voice, "This is an ancient immortal mansion. The best quality spiritual artifacts outside the immortal mansion are worth more than tens of thousands of high-grade spirit stones. You only took out these things, and want to enter the immortal mansion. It really is too." This essence-building cultivator suddenly came to understand. Ningcheng was also mining in that place. A trifling 1,000 high-grade spirit stones was really not enough for him. Thinking till here, he put away the storage bag, and once again took out a storage bag and handed it to Ningcheng and said, "The thing's in here, do you want to take a look?" Ningcheng took the storage bag, and found that the things inside were really a lot more. There were more than 10,000 high-grade spirit stones. Moreover, there were also many spiritual grasses. The total value added up to nearly 30,000 high-grade spirit stones. Double the number of things, and you can go in. Ningcheng once again returned the storage bag to the essence-building cultivator. Among the cultivators in the Angry Axe Valley, Ningcheng estimated that the number of things that he had obtained was not much. He had always been in closed-door cultivation, and these people were wandering around everywhere. Who knew how many good things they had obtained? If he did not take this opportunity to compensate himself, then when would he be able to? Besides, this was just a small fee. After the other people entered the immortal mansion, perhaps they would be able to get back more than 10 times the original amount. This essence-building cultivator clenched his teeth, and once again took out some spirit stones and spiritual grasses, and handed them over to Ningcheng. This time Ningcheng put them away, and then cupped his fists and said, "I can open the killing intent restriction on this stone door. Once the stone door is opened, for people can go in at the same time. Now there is still one less if you want to go, and then you can come up and say a few words." The actions of this essence-building 7th-level cultivator actually made Ningcheng think of a way to quickly earn spirit stones and spiritual grasses. Because he did not have any spirit stones, when he had advanced to the essence-building realm, he had borrowed 10,000 to 20,000 spirit stones from Yuing, and had not yet returned them to Yuing. In the future, if he wanted to repair himself, then he would need a terrifying amount of spirit stones. Where would he go to get these things? "Senior, I also want to go in." Another essence-building cultivator came over, and in his hands was also a bulging storage bag. Chapter 149. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept through the storage bag, and found that there were not many spirit stones inside, but there were a lot of spiritual grasses inside. Moreover, the grade of these spiritual grasses were not low. He immediately put away the storage bag and said, "Good, I'll also count you in." With the two essence-building cultivators taking the lead, some of the cultivators who knew about Ningcheng's abilities came one after another, and wanted to give Ningcheng some things, just to enter this ancient immortal mansion. Many cultivators who didn't know Ningcheng couldn't understand the scene in front of them at all. What the hell was going on? If a person said that he could break this kind of killing intent restriction, would so many people believe it? One had to know that this was a killing intent restriction. Even if some of the essence-building cultivators joined hands, they would not be able to break it? Was it so easy to deceive people nowadays? In just a short period of time, Ningcheng had already collected 7 or 8 storage bags. Seeing that there were still people coming from behind, Ningcheng quickly spoke up. "Wait a minute, I will first open the stone door, and let the first person go in." "That's right, that's what we should do." The few cultivators who arrived earlier hurriedly agreed. They were afraid that the more people there were, the later they would enter. The girl in the red robe, who had tried to persuade the fierce-looking cultivator, suddenly came forward and spoke to Ningcheng. "You said that you came first, so you have to go in first." Now that you have brought so many people, shouldn't these people be considered as cutting the queue? Don't tell me you don't mean what you say. If you really think we're easy to bully, then don't blame us for using force. Towards the end, the girl's tone had already turned cold. Ningqing knew that if he let all the people on his side go in, then it would definitely be wrong. He hurriedly cupped his fists and said, "Then may I ask this young lady, how long do you need to open this stone door? Who's your sister? Watch your mouth." The red-robed girl had not yet replied, when the fierce-looking essence-building fifth-level cultivator next to her once again stepped forward and spoke in a stern voice to Ningqing. The scarlet-robed girl waved her hand at the cultivator. She understood Ningqing's meaning, as she stared at Ningqing and spoke in a calm voice. "I want to go in. At most half an incense stick worth of time would be enough." She knew that if she said that she needed an hour, then Ningqing might also say that he needed an hour. She might as well keep the time short. Ningqing's mouth revealed a trace of a smile. This girl was simply bragging without any preparation. He had already comprehended 3 kinds of axe intents from the Angry Axe Valley. Moreover, his understanding of restrictions and array formations was also close to a level 3 expert. As such, he was confident that he could open the killing intent restriction on this stone door. This young girl was definitely bragging when she said that it took half an incense stick's time. However, he still chuckled and said, "That's good. I also only need half an incense stick's worth of time. After half an incense stick's worth of time, no matter how many times I try to open this stone door, or even if it doesn't open even once, I will give this position to you, little sister." The girl in the red dress also revealed a trace of a smile. "Sure, you go first, I'll wait here." After saying that, she threw a stick of incense to the side, and with a flick of her hand, she lit the incense. When the surrounding cultivators smelled this aroma, they immediately became spirited. The people here were all knowledgeable. Everyone immediately knew that the stick of incense that this young girl threw out was not a simple stick of incense, but an expensive spirit-cleansing incense. Sure enough, he was rich and overbearing, using the spirit-cleansing incense to calculate the time. Ningqing did not care about it, as he once again stood in front of the stone door, as he raised his hand and continuously waved out dozens of array flags. When these array flags completely disappeared from the surroundings of the door, Ningqing immediately chopped out with his great axe, causing a pale golden axe trace to appear on the stone door in a very inconspicuous position. Ka! A subtle sound that was almost inaudible transmitted over. The people outside immediately felt that the killing intent restriction in front of the stone door seemed to have stagnated, and then a rich spiritual qi hit them in the face. Ningqing took a step forward, as he raised his hand and pressed it in the middle of the stone door, as he turned his head and said, "The 4 people who paid first can go in." All the people were clear that the killing intent restriction on this stone door had already opened a gap. The 4 essence-building cultivators who had been waiting for a long time simply did not wait for Ningqing to speak a second sentence, as their bodies flashed and disappeared into the door. The 5th cultivator, who had also paid the spirit stones and spiritual grasses, hesitated for a moment, and finally did not go in. He was afraid that if he went against Ningqing's intentions, then he would be directly deprived of his qualifications. Anyway, the next group of people could still go in. All the cultivators at the entrance of the stone cave were completely shocked by Ningqing. What kind of ability was this? Before, there were also people who had formed a team to go in. Every time they went in, it was as if they were struggling for their lives. How could it be as easy as Ningqing? Just a dozen array flags, and then chopping them down with his great axe? Even those cultivators who already knew about Ningqing's ability could not believe it. They thought that even if Ningqing could go in, he would have to expend a lot of effort. Many of the people were already thinking about how many spiritual grasses and spirit stones they had to collect, so that they could enter this ancient immortal cave. The red-robed girl was also staring at Ningqing in shock. She did not think that she would not be able to break the killing intent restriction on this immortal cave, but even if she was able to break it, it would absolutely not be as easy as Ningqing. The originally disdainful sneer in her eyes. At this time there was a slight change. After the 4 people went in, Ningqing loosened his hand, and once again brought out his golden great axe. and chopped down with his great axe, and then turned to the other 4 cultivators who had paid the spirit stones and said, "You can go in." The 4 cultivators, on hearing Ning Cheng's words, with their fastest speed they could rush into the stone door. Ning Cheng let go of his palm, and raised his hand to put away the dozens of array flags, and then stood to the side and said to the red-robed girl, "The next half an incense stick worth of time is yours." At this time the red-robed girl had thrown out a stick of incense, and had only burnt a small half of it. On the surface, Ning Cheng did not look like he had even the slightest bit of change, but in fact, only he himself knew that he had consumed too much of his spiritual consciousness. His hand was pressed on the top of the stone door, and was also resisting the killing intent restriction on the stone door. "Friend, these are my spirit stones, please give me a spot next time." A true condensation 9th level cultivator, on seeing Ning Cheng easily let the 8 cultivators enter the ancient immortal cave, quickly took out a storage bag, and placed it in front of Ning Cheng with both hands. Ning Cheng did not take the other party's storage bag, he just swept it with his spiritual consciousness, and spoke in a light voice. "To open this stone door, my consumption is not small. So the cost of entering the stone door is 50,000 high-grade spirit stones, or spiritual grasses of the same value. Otherwise there is no need to talk about it." The entrance to the ancient immortal cave had a killing intent restriction, so it would be strange if there was no array formation restriction inside the ancient immortal cave. Ning Cheng was not in a hurry to go in, he urgently needed spirit stones for his cultivation, and he also urgently needed spiritual grasses for his alchemy, so he decided to fish for these things first. As for the things inside the immortal cave, as long as there was a restriction, then he would have a share of it. The surrounding cultivators all sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Just how many people here could come up with so many high-grade spirit stones? Besides the few people who found the spirit stone mine, only a very small number of core disciples from the 7-star academies and above would have such a possibility. Wasn't the entrance fee a bit too expensive? The red-robed girl nodded, and walked to the front of the stone door and said to the other 2 people, "I will first try to open this stone door." She thought that since Ning Cheng could open this stone door in the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, then she certainly would not have any problems. Before she came here, she had also heard that this stone door had a killing intent restriction. Although the other people were worried about the killing intent restriction, but she was not even half a bit worried. As a core disciple of the White Moon Sword sect, her understanding of sword intent was not something that an ordinary person could compare to. Even if it was regarding restrictions, she was still much stronger than an ordinary cultivator. The red-robed girl stood motionless in front of the stone door with her eyes closed. All the people present knew that she was looking for a gap in the killing intent restriction. When the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn was almost up, she suddenly opened her eyes. She found that the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn was too short for her. If she had the time it takes for a few dozen incense sticks to burn, then she might still be able to do it. But now that she had boasted about it, she simply did not have any leeway to turn it around. "Junior apprentice Sister Gulan, how is it?" the fierce-looking man hurriedly asked, and his tone seemed to be very concerned. Ning Cheng, who was watching from the side, could clearly see that after the red-robed girl opened her eyes, her brows were slightly wrinkled. It was evident that she had not found a way to break open the stone door. That gigolo was more cunning, and did not speak a single word at this time. "Let's attack here, let's do it together." When the red-robed girl heard the fierce-looking man's question, she suddenly pointed to a position on the stone door and spoke. Ning Cheng looked at that position, and secretly laughed in his heart. This girl could not find a better position, but also did not want to lose face. As such, she pointed to the position where he had broken open the stone door twice before. "Junior apprentice Sister Gulan, if the 3 of us attack together, then I'm afraid that the power would be too great. Why don't I try to attack it by myself first?" The male cultivator, who had not spoken until now, suddenly opened his mouth, and spoke in an incomparably gentle tone. When the fierce-looking man heard the words of this male cultivator, he quickly followed up and spoke. "What Wuxia said is right, let us try it out first." "Wuxia, although your cultivation is a bit higher than mine, but your true essence is not thick, Let me try it alone. The male cultivator called Wuxia unexpectedly nodded and said, All right, junior apprentice brothers, Wahong Xian is a brute force cultivator. Maybe it really would have a miraculous effect. Saying that, he moved to the side, and the girl called Gulan also followed the pale-faced man and moved to the side. Ning Cheng secretly laughed in his heart. This person called Wahong Xian was sold by others, and still wanted to help count the money. Wahong Xian, on seeing the two people believe in him, immediately became even more confident, as he directly brought out the copper gong in his hands and blasted it towards the position that the girl had pointed at. The copper gong brought with it an imposing manner and sound, and did not even pause for half a moment before it exploded on top of the empty stone door. Bang! An explosive sound similar to the sound of the copper gong sounded out. Some of the nearby cultivators almost covered their ears. This sound was really too terrifying. Almost after the bang sound, the copper gong that was thrown out by Wahong Xian flew back at an even faster speed. The copper gong that was thrown out by Wahong Xian directly exploded on Wahong Xian's chest with a formidable killing intent. This kind of killing intent was something that even the nearby cultivators could feel. Wahong Xian simply did not have even half a shred of ability to resist, and was directly thrown out by this formidable backlash from the copper gong. Poof! A bloody light streaked across, as Wahong Xian's chest was cut open by the incomparably sharp edge of the copper gong, and a deep bloody mark appeared on it, as blood sprayed out like a fountain. That girl was greatly shocked in her heart, as she quickly rushed over, and raised her hand a few times, while simultaneously a few pills fell into Wahong Xian's mouth. One had to say that the efficacy of this girl's pills was simply too amazing. In just a short period of time, Wahong Xian's chest that was cut open had already stopped bleeding, and even Wahong Xian was trembling as he stood up. What everyone did not expect was that the first thing that Wahong Xian did after standing up was unexpectedly to point at Ning Cheng and say in a hateful voice, Son of a bitch! You dare to deceive me, Wahong Xian. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.